Will it happen or not?
I hope it's not going to happen, and I kind of think it's not going to happen.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Sean Malone. As St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery has been criminally charged.
We believe that the evidence will free him, and we look forward to representing him in this case.
I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunny to partly cloudy today and warm this afternoon with a high of 86.
I'm Joe Pott. The Cardinals get a split with the Pirates at Busch Stadium, and the Mizzou Tigers open up the season with a rout. I've got details coming up in sports.
We are coming up on 6 o'clock, and it's time for CBS News at the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We've learned more about this week's mass shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. Law enforcement sources tell CBS News the shooter was in the chapel where 2 children were killed, 18 people wounded, just a few weeks ago, and told an employee the visit was about reconnecting with faith. Jesse Merkel says the loss of his 8-year-old son Fletcher has left a hole in his heart.
I'm hopeful that all the wounded are able to make a full recovery and return home to their families. All the people, and especially the children, impacted by this horrific event.
10-year-old Harper Moisky's parents say she was bright, joyful, and deeply loved. 4 top officials have quit the CDC after the director was fired this week over differences with Health Secretary Kennedy on vaccine policy. Among the resignations, Dimitri Deskalakis, who headed up the National Center for Immunization. He predicts science will soon take a backseat to politics.
With the changes that are happening at CDC, with the changes that are happening in the Advisory Committee for Immunization practices, I don't think that that's going to be true for much longer.
The controversies affected COVID vaccine offerings in 16 states at the nation's largest pharmacy chain.
CVS cites the current regulatory environment. Pharmacists in those 16 states can't give shots that haven't been recommended by the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. That panel has yet to endorse this fall's COVID shots and is not scheduled to meet for another 3 weeks. Andy Pexos is a virologist at Johns Hopkins University.
COVID is happening right now, so we run the risk of delaying the rollout of the vaccine while we go through some of these regulatory hurdles.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
If you're ordering stuff online from overseas, it could cost you more.
As of today, all packages entering the U.S. will be subject to whatever tariff applies to the country it's coming from. That extra cost likely to be passed on to you, the purchaser. President Trump closing a loophole that he argues has hurt American producers and enabled large-scale smuggling of fentanyl. Confusion over how the new rules to be implemented and by whom has meant a number of postal services around the world have paused all deliveries to the U.S. for now.
It's been 20 years exactly since Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. CBS's Jim Crisula.
Greg Ketchum has never forgotten the communal sense of desperation as the city descended into lawlessness in the days after the storm.
I still carry that with me, that knowledge of what it's like to be in a life-threatening situation.
The former clinical psychologist from San Francisco was able to flee the New Orleans chaos with the help of some Good Samaritans. He was stranded in the city after dropping his daughter off at Loyola University.
This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
At 6:03, we have a few clouds, 58 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, August 29th. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Yesterday, KMOX asked Governor Mike Kehoe whether he's going to call a special session to redraw congressional maps to favor Republicans. He was non-committal. This morning, we're asking how a top Democrat feels.
KMOX asked State Representative Ian Mackey what he's anticipating.
I hope it's not going to happen, and I kind of think it's not going to happen.
But most of his colleagues on both sides of the aisle do feel that it is probable. Mackey says trying to draw all or most of the districts so they'll be guaranteed Republican could backfire.
I'm trying to put my mind in the mind of Governor Mike Kehoe and trying to run the pros and cons to think about what can I get out of this and what am I going to lose if I try. And I just think the list of, even from his perspective, the potential of having a 5-3 map and, where Ann Wagner's district is weaker, Mark Alfred's district is weaker from their perspective, more Democratic, is something that they're going to run into.
The latest reports indicate a special session could come next week. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A federal grand jury has indicted St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery.
Montgomery is charged with one misdemeanor count, deprivation of rights under color of law. The charge stems from a February incident when Montgomery ordered City Justice Center Deputy Commissioner Tammy Ross be detained while Montgomery conducted his own investigation into one of his deputies' alleged sexual misconduct with a detainee. Montgomery's attorney, Justin Gelfand, says his client is innocent and evidence will set him free. So I asked this follow-up question.
We've all seen the video. What evidence are you confident in will free him?
There's no question that Missouri law gives the sheriff's office for the city of St. Louis the ability to enforce certain criminal statutes based on violations of criminal law.
Montgomery's attorney did not elaborate about which statutes he was enforcing while having Ross detained. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Montgomery is charged with deprivation of rights under color of law, which is described by the Justice Department as when a public official deprives someone of their constitutional rights while in an official position. That's what U.S. Attorney Tom Albus tells Fox 2.
The FBI worked with my office and other agencies to complete the investigation.
Montgomery's indictment notes that the St. Louis sheriff cannot legally enforce criminal laws. Only St. Louis police can do that, including having arrest authority.
An attorney for St. Louis County Executive Sam Page entered a not guilty plea on his behalf Thursday to charges of misdemeanor election offenses and felony stealing. The indictment alleges Page illegally used public funds on a mailer to campaign against Prop B, a ballot measure that would have limited his power. Page's office has defended the mailer as allowable public education. The next court date in the case, September 23rd.
Lufthansa suspending for the month of February its nonstop flight from St. Louis to Frankfurt, Germany. Lauded as the region's long-awaited link to mainland Europe, the airline is calling it a pause and says service will resume in March. Industry analyst with Atmosphere Research Group, Henry Hartevelt, explains to KMOX why this is happening.
What we're seeing from Lufthansa is typical of airlines right now. They are reducing flights on routes during off-peak months like February, just on routes that may not be as profitable or may not be profitable at all. It's sound business practices, but Lufthansa appears to be committed to St. Louis, and that's what I would focus on.
The load factors or number of seats sold on a flight have been extremely high for that route, and Lufthansa has said it's pleased with sales. Hartevelt notes airlines are facing not only a shortage of aircraft, but a shortage in the components used to build out aircraft interiors.
Gas prices are down year over year in Missouri this holiday weekend.
It's been a record-breaking summer travel season, and many will squeeze one final trip in over the Labor Day weekend. AAA estimates 11.5 million will be traveling. AAA also reporting that the statewide average for a gallon of regular unleaded is $2.87. That's 4 cents more than last week, but 18 cents below last year. Kansas City and St. Louis are paying the most on average at $2.91. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
Major League Baseball's media rights are in the process of changing again, but in St. Louis, listening to and watching Cardinals games continues to be fairly easy.
As there continues to be a lot of talk about Major League Baseball's television rights, one thing that will not change is Cardinals baseball on KMOX. Cardinals Senior Vice President for Business Operations, Anouk Karunaratne, says the relationship between the club and KMOX is an important one.
You can go pretty much anywhere in the country and find Cardinal fans. Within concentric circles of St. Louis, there's still an incredibly passionate fan base. And I think a lot of that has to do with our early partnership with KMOX and being the southern and westernmost team in the country for many, many decades. And KMOX taking us into households, into living rooms all across the country.
Karunaratne adds that the free TV games that were added this year on KMOV and Matrix Midwest, in addition to the direct-to-consumer streaming option, has resulted in increased ratings, even with the club having a tough season on the field. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
We're going to check the Friday morning rush hour coming up in 2 minutes. It's 6:08.
Energy security isn't a slogan, it's a necessity. American-made energy means we call the shots instead of depending on foreign sources to fill our tanks. Made here in America, ethanol keeps gas prices lower at the pump. It's reliable, creates jobs, and strengthens farming communities. Tell Congress to support nationwide year-round access to E15, a lower-cost fuel made with 15% ethanol, because American-made energy should come first. paid for by the Renewable Fuels Association.
When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game, stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, we fight for you, making sure big insurance doesn't throw you a curveball. With over $25 billion recovered, we're the home run hitters you need.
This is way out there and gone.
Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Open Phone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Open Phone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Open Phone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Open Phone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Open Phone. Open Phone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Open Phone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10, and that means it's time for traffic and weather. And we start with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, no issues or delays out there as of yet, Debbie, on this Friday morning. Everything's zipping along. 70 out in the Warrenton area looks good. 270 at Ladue, 55 at McNutt and at Bayless. Fine. That ramp should still be closed on the Illinois side. Eastbound 64 to 158 for about another 15, 20 minutes, something like that. And last night was the last night of a 2-night closure of that ramp. And, of course, holiday road work for the Labor Day weekend. They normally wrap up early on the Missouri side by about noon and on the Illinois side by about 3 p.m. And that's the temporary work zones. Of course, around the clock with the restrictions of the concrete barriers will stay out there. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny to partly cloudy today and pleasantly warm this afternoon with a high of 86. Tonight, mainly clear with lows ranging from 55 in some eastern suburbs to about 62 downtown at the Arch. Sunshine mixing with clouds and warm tomorrow, high 85. Sunday, sun through high clouds, high temperature 82. Labor Day, clouds and some sun, high 80. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We've got a few clouds to start the morning. 63 in Florissant, 61 in St. Peters, 58 downtown at the Arch. The weather sponsored by Chuck's Boots. Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores. Boots for every walk of life. Rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, and motorcycle gear. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peters. chucksboots.com.
I'm Joe Pott. I'm recapping a Cards win coming up in sports.
It is now 6:12. A Chesterfield man is facing charges after police say he struck a 9-year-old child while attempting to illegally pass a school bus. The St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has charged 35-year-old Dante DeVito with DWI and leaving the scene of an accident. This happened on Wednesday. According to officials, DeVito was intoxicated by drugs when he hit the child, who suffered a fractured elbow and a concussion. DeVito was found a short distance away from the crash, was arrested, and is being held on $250,000 bond.
Police are asking for the public's help to find a missing 13-year-old boy from Bellefontaine neighbors. Dontrell Cafe Carter was last seen yesterday evening around 6 p.m. near Coburglands Drive running northbound. Police consider him endangered. Dontrell is a black male about 5'6" tall with an afro. He was last seen wearing a green Gap hoodie, denim jeans, and black shoes. If you have any information, please contact the St. Louis County Police.
It's a strange allergy with a surprising source. The Lone Star tick, and MU Extension wants to know how much Missourians know about it.
The tick-borne allergy can cause an allergic reaction after eating red meat or other mammal-derived products. Rachel O'Halloran is a nutrition and health specialist with MU Extension. She says they're asking people to contribute to their Alpha-Gal Needs survey.
What we plan to do with the information we get from our Missouri community members is to use it to create a very intentional education and outreach, including guide sheets about some of the important skills about shopping, with alpha-gal syndrome to avoid allergen, as well as cooking techniques.
O'Halloran tells Missouri Net they're looking for input from everyone, whether you've experienced alpha-gal syndrome or not. You can find the survey at extension.missouri.edu. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Jefferson County's first ever county executive will be laid to rest tomorrow.
Ken Waller died suddenly Sunday at his home in Herculaneum, leaving behind his wife of 35 years, Trina, 2 sons, and a daughter. When Jefferson County switched to a charter form of government, Waller, a Republican who had been the county's treasurer, became the first county executive and served from 2011 to 2018.
The desk that I occupy now is the desk that Ken used to sit at.
Current county executive Dennis Gannon says Waller was a big part of Jefferson County's flip from Democrat to Republican politics.
You know, that's funny. I looked at pictures of him when he appeared to be really, really super young, and it's sad. But he'll, you know, I just pray for Trina and Mrs. Douglas.
Waller had just announced his bid for state senate at the beginning of August. He was 63. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
And the funeral service for Waller will be tomorrow morning at 10:30 at Grace Life Chapel in Pevely.
Cards trying to earn a split with the Pirates yesterday afternoon at Busch Stadium. Miles Michaelis starting for the Redbirds, and he's greeted in the first by old friend Tommy Pham.
Had a huge hit in the game last night, driving in the 2 runs to beat the Cardinals 2-1, and he hits one a mile left field. That's going to leave the yard, and Tommy Pham is on a mission. He hits a home run, his 8th of the year, and for Miles Michaelis, that's the 24th allowed.
Michaelis would strand 2 in the inning, and it was 1-0 Pittsburgh all the way until Ivan Herrera tied the game in the 3rd.
And we'll be back on Sunday. Breaking pitch is hammered down the left field line. That was a hanger, and that's going to the wall. Nootbaar is headed towards third base. They're going to send him home. Pham hits the cutoff man, and the throw is bobbled at short, and now they've got Herrera in a rundown, as they're going to end up tagging him out eventually. Way too many throws. Here's the 4th throw, and they finally get him. But the double by Herrera scores Nootbaar from first base, and the Cardinals have tied it at 1.
Well, Michaelis allowed just the run on 4 hits through 5 innings. He struck out 5 and walked just 1. Kyle Leahy struck out 4 in 2 scoreless innings, and it was a 1-1 game into the bottom of the 7th inning. Mason Wynn walked to lead off the inning, and Thomas Sajaci put the Cards on top.
Ramirez set and the pitch, and that ball is hit into the right center field gap, and it's going to be over the head of Cruz and off the wall. Wynn's going to round third base. They're going to try to score him. The play at the plate, not in time. The Cardinals take the lead in the bottom of the 7th inning with Thomas Sajaci hitting a double off the right center field wall. RBI number 16 for him, and it's 2-1 St. Louis.
Well, Thomas Sajaci just missed getting out. Jordan Walker didn't miss.
Sajaci takes his lead, and that ball's hit hard to left center field. That's deep. It's back to the wall, and it is gone. A big fly for Jordan Walker. His 5th of the year, and the Cardinals have broken it open here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the Cardinals lead 4-1.
That's your call of the game, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Riley O'Brien tossed a scoreless 8th inning. He turned things over to JoJo Romero in the 9th. With the Cards up 4-1, Romero erased a leadoff single with a double play before he faces Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with 2 outs.
Now 2-2 on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. A swing, and that ball is hit into center field. Caught on the run by Sajaci for a Redbird winner. Looked like that ball might get down, but Sajaci, with good speed, ran it down. And the fireworks go off in downtown St. Louis as the Cardinals gain a split in this series by beating the Pirates today 4-1.
It's a 3-game series starting tonight in Cincinnati for the Redbirds. Matthew Liberatore will take the ball for the Cards. It's a 5:40 Central Time start. Ameren Total Access is at 4:45. Mizzou had a big 61-6 win over Central Arkansas in the opener of the 2025 season. I'll have more on that coming up in our next sports update. That's at 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Life is change. An election, an illness, a death. And questions. What about my family, my retirement, my estate? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano stand ready to help you plan for your life changes and protect what matters to you. They have listened, planned, and executed thousands of estate plans, taxes, and legal documents for over 30 years, right here in St. Louis. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano make it easy to get started. Go to their website, yourestateMatters.com, and request their free webinar. It focuses on simple legal strategies and their process. Then schedule your free personal consultation. Life is change. Plan now. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
At Tax Relief Advocates, we get it. Thinking about back taxes to the IRS can be very unsettling. Don't lose hope. With thousands of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, TRA is resolving taxpayers' delinquent tax problems nationwide once and for all. We could significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe the IRS. If you haven't filed your taxes in years or are already facing collections, we can help. We aren't just some run-of-the-mill tax service company. We specialize in helping individuals and businesses with $10,000, $50,000, or even $500,000 in back taxes get speedy resolution. And in many cases, only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. The IRS isn't going anywhere, and neither is your tax problem. To see what tax relief you qualify for, visit TRA.com or call 800-335-8578. 800-335-8578. Again, that's 800-335-8578. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's now 6:20. Let's see how things are moving out there on this Friday morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, so far so good, Megan. Everything's looking nice on these drives in. I don't see any delays out Warrenton way on 70 like we've had earlier this week. If you're on southbound 61 coming down on the 64 or 70, you're good to go. They've been working this week on eastbound 370 at the Discovery Bridge. They're going to go to the westbound side next week, but again, that restriction hasn't bothered anybody. 55 at McNutt north of Bayless looks good to go. They're still working, I believe, in Metro East on that ramp. Eastbound 64 or 158, that was an overnight closure last night and the night before, so they should wrap it up in the next 10 minutes or so. But again, no delays in that area. Looking like we have a minor crash on 64, just right around Barack Obama Avenue. We'll try to keep tabs on that. I don't see any delays through there at this time. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right. Thanks, Roger. You should not have any issues with the weather for the next 5 days and probably beyond. Today is the hottest day of this 5-day forecast. It'll be 86 degrees with sunny to partly cloudy skies. Then tomorrow, 85, 82 on Sunday, Labor Day Monday, a high near 80. It's 60 degrees out there right now.
More news now at 6:22 and happening overnight. First responders rescue a driver who was trapped in a car after it crashed off of Interstate 44 in Lindbergh and Kirkwood. Witnesses say the car landed in a backyard and was found behind the Stonecrest townhomes. Neighbors credited first responders for their quick action.
First responders in Valley Park successfully rescued a person who was trapped in a collapsed structure on Vest Avenue. Firefighters and then from Valley Park and several other districts responded to the scene about 1:30 yesterday afternoon, where it took crews about 25 minutes to free the person. The condition of that person rescued is unknown.
Edward Jones laying off workers. The DePere-based company this week laid off 259 employees in its home office operations. That's in addition to the more than 550 who accepted voluntary separation earlier in the year. Under an initiative called Enterprise Reimagined, the company says it's making changes to its structure. Currently, the company has about 5,400 employees in the St. Louis area, a decline of about 21%.
Walgreens, based in the Chicago area, has a new owner, a new CEO, and a new business plan. We get more from Rob Hart in Chicago.
The acquisition of Walgreens Boots Alliance by Sycamore Partners is now official. Forbes healthcare writer Bruce Jabson tells the Noon Business Hour that the sale price tells the story.
It was not long ago that this company was worth $100 billion in market capitalization, and now the Sycamore Partners, which is more known in the retail space than in the healthcare space for sure, is purchasing them and taking them private for $10 billion.
Walgreens is going from a publicly traded company to privately held. Jabson expects Walgreens to continue closing stores and to focus on the core pharmacy business. The company announced last fall that it's closing 1,200 of its 8,400 stores.
KMOX has reported on the problems St. Louisans have been having getting their prescriptions filled at Walgreens pharmacies across the region, which seem to close randomly due to staffing issues. Walgreens has also closed 4 stores in the city and county over the last year.
The U.S. Labor Department estimates 200,000 women left the workforce in the first quarter of this year. Wendy Doyle of the Kansas City nonprofit United We says it's often due to lack of child care. She also says there's a big economic cost.
It's about $1.3 billion lost on an annual basis to Missouri's economy as a result of not having child care.
Doyle tells Missouri Net accessing child care can be especially difficult in rural Missouri.
What were you doing at 10 years old? Probably not starting your own company, but that's what Joshua Danrich of St. Louis did. He started Mr. Fresh, a line of air fresheners and deodorizers. Once he really got things up and running, the now 16-year-old pitched it to Walmart.
We are in 100 Walmart stores in Missouri, and we want to go nationwide with Walmart. So Walmart, I'm calling them out. Let's go nationwide. Let's partner together. Let's make this thing big. I want to be the biggest air freshener company in the world.
Joshua's business partner is his mother, Shay, also known as Mama Fresh. As a business consultant herself, she says she knew her son would be an entrepreneur, but didn't think it would come so soon. And it's challenging because he's still in school.
When it comes to school, even in school says that he's good, like organizing, scheduling, and all that, because I had to put a plan in place. So it made sense for us as well as, for me as well as him.
Joshua wants to inspire other young people, especially young Black boys, to dream big and start a business. They're also working with the Micro Enterprise Program through Legal Services of Eastern Missouri, which offers free legal services like getting documents together, contracts, and securing commercial space.
Build-A-Bear reporting a record first half of the year with revenue climbing more than 11%. The success driven by higher store traffic, new international locations, and a social media strategy that is successfully reaching the growing kidult or adult collector market. Despite facing rising tariff costs, investors reacted positively to the news, sending the downtown St. Louis-based company's stock up about 15%.
Vaccines and heart disease. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. In a bid to protect those with heart disease, the American College of Cardiology has issued what it calls concise clinical guidance recommending vaccines for this adult patient population against some common illnesses. Dr. Deepak Bhatt is the director of the Mount Sinai Heart Hospital in New York City.
The American College of Cardiology, as you said, has issued this new guidance to cardiologists, but also then to patients with heart disease, really strongly endorsing the use of appropriate vaccines, things like the influenza vaccine, the pneumococcal vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, some others as well, RSV and zoster. And the reason for this is to try to prevent those infections, which can be particularly catastrophic in people that already have things like a history of a heart attack or heart failure.
Dr. Bhatt says studies have shown that vaccines are highly effective in reducing the severe risks of these illnesses. With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
All right, you pick them. You don't have to take my word for it. Lots of 5-star reviews out there from my friends at Rhino Shield because, like me, there are a lot of satisfied Rhino Shield customers. And what does that mean? Well, maybe you're satisfied because it's exactly the color and beautiful, vivid color that you wanted, right, with the trim and all of that. They can do in different colors, just like you would with regular paint, but it lasts for so long. Maybe you're happy because you're not out there scraping or having to pay somebody to scrape and paint every 4 or 5 years. That's what happens with regular paint. Not Rhino Shield. Goes on thick, waterproofs your house completely, protects it from the rays of the sun, gives you an insulation factor. It's fantastic. They've used it on HGTV, on unpainted brick, block, aluminum, steel, hardy cement board. It's fantastic on all of it. Call them today for a free evaluation, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Most people have no idea there's an invisible gap in their home's protection. This invisible threat is house stealing. Con artists pick a house. They transfer the deed of this house into their name by obtaining the forms, using the fake IDs, and filing the paperwork with proper authorities. Now they own the home. Protect your home from this invisible gap. Check on your home's title right now at HomeTitleLock.com. Be sure to use promo code RADIO and they will send you a complete title scan of your home's title. And your first 30 days of triple lock title protection is free. HomeTitleLock.com.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
A few clouds and 58 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things still look great on the roadways. Folks, if you're heading out the door right now, eastbound 70 coming in from Warrenton all the way in through to the Blanchette Bridge, southbound 61 onto 64 or 70 to the Boone Bridge on 64. Everything's cruising along there. 55 looks good down around McNutt. Still no delays in those right lanes coming through Butler Hill. It still looks good north of Bayless up across the river to Pear. 270 in the work zone at Ladue. Everything's fine. They should have that road work picked up. I haven't got the all clear from IDOT, but that ramp was scheduled to be reopened this morning at 6:30. So that's now eastbound 64 to 158. Last night was the last night of the overnight road work and closures of that ramp. But downtown, we had a report of a minor crash on 64 near Barack Obama Avenue. I'm still not seeing any delays through there, so that's good news. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny to partly cloudy, pleasantly warm today with a high of 86. Clear tonight with an overnight low near 60. And then we'll have sunshine mixing with clouds, a warm day tomorrow, a high of 85. Right now, we have sunny skies, 63 degrees in Florissant, 61 in St. Peter's, 59 downtown at the Arch.
City Hall addressing what Mayor Spencer's administration calls the abuse of its family and medical leave program.
The policy, which offers 6 weeks of paid leave, has been used by more than a tenth of the city's workforce. The Post-Dispatch reports the city's budget director, Paul Payne, says the cost has exceeded $1 million a year, and former Mayor Jones called the rollout one of her biggest regrets. Jim Suleiman, the retired streets department director, recalled a case where a trash truck driver used a doctor's note to get out of an undesirable route. Now the city hopes to curb these issues by making employees use their vacation and sick time first before accessing the paid leave. There are exceptions for new parents. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery has been indicted by a federal grand jury on a misdemeanor count of deprivation of rights under color of law. The charges come after Montgomery ordered the deputy commissioner of the St. Louis jail be illegally detained. Attorney Justin Gelfand, speaking on Montgomery's behalf, maintains his client's innocence.
We believe that the evidence will free him, and we look forward to representing him in this case.
Montgomery has agreed to not possess a firearm while the criminal case plays out. His attorneys say they will appeal.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page pleaded not guilty Thursday to felony charges that he illegally used public funds for a political mailer. The indictment claims Page used taxpayer money to campaign against Proposition B, the ballot measure that would have allowed the county council to fire his department heads. Page's office has maintained the mailer was legal and intended only to educate the public. The next court hearing is scheduled for September 23rd.
9 Mile Garden is expanding. The region's first food truck plaza in Afton will open an 18,000 square foot indoor event center in the space previously occupied by O'Reilly Auto Parts. The canteen, the indoor bar area, will be moved into the new space that will have a walk-up bar and patio and the ability to host events such as parties and weddings.
We're going to get you your money report from Bloomberg coming up after the break at 6:33.
This is Tom Ackerman. Whether you're looking for bulk compost or just a few bags,
St. Louis Composting provides an extensive selection of compost, soil blends, and mulches. Visit one of their 9 facilities in St. Louis, or you can order online for convenient delivery to your home or job site. There are 9 area locations at stlcompost.com. Again, that site is stlcompost.com. At St. Louis Composting, they like to say, growing gardens, making memories. Enjoy your outdoor space this spring with vegetable gardens and fresh landscaping. With St. Louis Composting, they transform organic yard waste, branches, leaves, grass clippings, and more into premium compost through a 6-month static composting process. They are the largest and most trusted compost provider in the St. Louis area. They are St. Louis Composting. Online at stlcompost.com. That's stlcompost.com.
It's now 6:35. Time for your money report. It is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
Good morning. Watch for details this morning on just how much prices have been going up. Economists say the Fed's preferred measure of inflation will likely show quicker inflation last month, led by service prices, including financial services like portfolio management fees. All this as the Fed gears up to decide about whether to cut interest rates next month. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook's lawyers suggested an unintentional clerical error may have been behind recent controversy. Cook sued to block President Donald Trump's illegal attempt to remove her from the U.S. Central Bank. Shares of Dell under pressure after reporting fewer sales of artificial intelligence servers and lower profit margins than analyst estimates. Even so, Dell is raising its annual sales projection and increased its earnings forecast. And less than 6 months after emerging from bankruptcy, sources tell Bloomberg that executives from Spirit Aviation, the budget air carrier, engaged in high-level talks about its future with executives from rival Frontier Group in Dania Beach, Florida. Talks focusing on Spirit's efforts to rebuild. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career, or the right relationship.
But whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After proving the doctors wrong following my accident, I got back to baseball, started kicking field goals, and finally got paid as a pro kicker and ultimately became a leader in the marketing world. That's why I trust Renner Garage Door, exceeding expectations for over 65 years. They service, sell, and install top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Get your free quote today. Check them out at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
More news now, sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. President Trump's threats to send federal troops to Chicago has community organizations, elected officials, and faith leaders there calling for more genuine solutions. Here's Haley Hansen.
Dozens of people gathered near Daley Plaza to call on the president to instead refocus on community-based programs that experts agree create lasting public safety. Reverend Sierra Bates Chamberlain with Live Free Chicago.
Homicides and shootings are at historic lows. And that progress did not come from the National Guard or military tanks. It came from the people.
She adds,
this is not just about Chicago. This is about the soul of our country. While he militarizes our neighborhoods, he is also plotting to dismantle our democracy.
Governor Gavin Newsom is deploying more California Highway Patrol teams to major cities to fight crime.
Newsom says crime is down overall across the state, but the CHP will help target certain areas of Los Angeles, San Diego, Sacramento, and the Bay Area. He was asked if the CHP surge is an attempt to prevent President Trump from deploying more National Guard troops to California.
We're not reacting and responding to anything, quite the contrary, with one caveat: the community wants to see more.
Last year, Newsom sent CHP teams to Oakland, Bakersfield, and San Bernardino when crime rates in those areas soared. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
It is 6:40 and time for us to get you a check of traffic and weather. And we start with Roger Brand, who is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it looks great out there, Debbie. It continues to cruise along. Friday mornings tend to be lighter, so it's not a surprise, I guess, but it's also the start of the Labor Day holiday weekend. So right now we're in great shape on both sides of the river. I don't see any delays even in the work zones. I do see a little slow traffic on northbound 67 at Double C. Not a backup, just a little bit of a slowdown as you get through the signals there, and then the restrictions coming up into that 67-55 interchange. But it still looks great out west, 70 through Warrenton, east and westbound 70 coming in from the split in Wentzville, southbound 61 heading down through Wentzville Parkway from Highway P. Still looking great downtown. We're still clear westbound across the Poplar and Muswell Veterans Bridges, and haven't gotten the all clear, but they should be wrapped up by that road work eastbound 64 at the 158 exit ramp as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like it's going to be a really gorgeous Labor Day weekend. Let's get all the details now from AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
I think it is going to be pretty nice. So we're seeing a fair amount of clear skies at sunrise, and we'll see sunshine mixing with clouds today. A warm afternoon high of about 86. And then tonight should be mainly clear, 55 in some of the eastern suburbs, about 62 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, another nice, warm, dry day. Sunshine mixes with clouds, or high 85. A few more high clouds around on Sunday. That'll dim the sunshine. It'll still be dry, though, with a high of 82. It looks dry on Labor Day with clouds and some sun and a high near 80. Rivers about a shower threat on Tuesday. Otherwise, clouds, some sun, and temperatures close to 80. Right now, 61 in St. Peter's, at 63 in Florissant. Mainly clear in 66 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Cards had a big game, so did the Missouri Tigers, that is. I'll tell you about both of those things coming up in sports.
It is 6:42, and a record number of Americans are expected to take to the roads and skies this Labor Day weekend, and airlines are preparing for the influx of travelers. Jim Moses with American Airlines spoke at the carrier's hub at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport about how busy the weekend will be.
At American Airlines at DFW, we are offering over 5,100 flights this Labor Day weekend. It's over 700,000 seats from DFW on American Airlines this holiday weekend, which also represents a 5% increase over last year.
Having someone, or rather something, book a trip for you is catching on.
Data from Adobe finds that more people are turning to artificial intelligence chatbots to plan their travel. Adobe lead insights analyst Vivek Pandya.
What we're seeing is a huge influx of traffic coming from these generative AI platforms. So just this past year, we've seen about a 3,500% year-on-year increase.
The data indicates that most people use AI to research their trips, and 43% use it for recommendations. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Did you ever see the movie from the 80s, Toxic Avenger? Well, there is a remake that's hitting theaters this weekend. Here's Kevin Carr.
In an era of remakes, reboots, and retcons, I suppose it's time for a new take on classic American exploitation.
The Toxic Avenger.
That's what the kids are calling him. I think it's swell.
The Toxic Avenger follows a down-on-his-luck widower who suffers an industrial accident that turns him into a powerful mutant.
I didn't want any of this.
He targets the head of a pharmaceutical company to clean up the town of corruption and crime.
You're saying that this corporation would knowingly poison its own customers just to boost their own profit margins?
In the 80s, the Toxic Avenger helped build the Trauma Schlockhaus. The original film was a teen sexcapade with Toxie fighting bullies in a gym. Now he tackles bigger issues like corporate greed and the healthcare crisis.
How does it feel to be a hero?
Does this make the new film better? Not necessarily. There was a comfort to the original's focus on over-the-top splatter filmmaking with a corny plot and loads of jiggle factor.
Do you realize what's at stake here?
In this version, Peter Dinklage takes his role way more seriously than he probably should, while Kevin Bacon and Elijah Wood chew the scenery as bad guys, and it's all in good fun.
Just some dude with a mouth.
The Toxic Avenger is a wild ride, though I do miss the days of Trauma's gritty, low-budget exploitation films with zero regrets.
Sometimes you gotta do something.
The Toxic Avenger gets 3 mops out of 5.
I have to follow the Toxic Avenger with sports this morning.
It was a very cheesy 80s movie.
The Cardinals scored 3 unanswered runs yesterday in a 4-1 win over the Pirates at Busch Stadium. That gained them a split in the 4-game series. Lars Nootbaar, 3 for 4 in that game with a run scored. He's now pushed his average to 293 over his last 15 games. That includes a home run and 4 RBIs. Who's Hot? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Order online for delivery or pick up premium soil, compost, and mulch at any of our 9 locations. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. Cardinals open a 3-game series in Cincinnati tonight. Matthew Liberatore will make the start. He's 6-11 with a 4.27 ERA and 24 starts this season. And he'll be up against Zach Littell, who's 9-8 with a 3.62 ERA for the Reds. First pitch is 5:40 Central Time. Amarin Totolax's pregame show comes up at 4:45. Last night, opening night in Columbia. It had Mizzou playing host to Central Arkansas in the kickoff to the Tigers' 2025 season. Mizzou rolled up 560 yards of total offense in a 61-6 rout of the Bears. The win marked the 20th consecutive home non-conference win for the Tigers and the 11th straight win at home overall. Tigers got up 61-0 before the only score for Central Arkansas, a touchdown, came with 22 seconds to play in the game. Tigers quarterback Bo Pribula threw for 283 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Pribula has yet to throw. Stretching the field. He's got a man. Complete. End zone. Speedy. Marquise Johnson. And that's a memorable first for Bo Pribula.
That's the SEC Network, and that's his first strike, which came with 11:06 to play in the first to Marquise Johnson. Johnson finished with 134 yards receiving in the game. Pribula also rushed for 2 touchdowns.
Did not see the tight ends. 2 involved in the pass game. Pribula nowhere to go. Dancing. Pump fake. He's got a clearing. Pribula. The wheels. Ball. Nose. Touchdowns.
This all came after Sam Horn started the game. He was knocked out in the first, on the first play, as a matter of fact, with a hard hit. Mizzou welcomes Kansas to Faurot Field a week from Saturday, the first time the Tigers and Jayhawks have met in football since 2011. Number 12, Illinois, opens its season tonight in Champaign. It'll play host to Western Illinois at 6:30 on Peacock. And St. Louis City plays tomorrow night at Energizer Park. They'll have Houston at 7:30. Pregame, 7:15 on our sister station, Y98. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. We have all definitely been feeling the heat this summer, and if your home isn't staying cool, your windows could be the reason why. You can blast the AC all day long, but if your windows aren't doing their job, all that cool air is going out the window, literally. Never a better time to buy. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, and there's no limit and no interest for 5 whole years. That's 60 months of zero interest financing. Call 314-334-2522 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Registered by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is now 6:50. Let's see how things are moving out there for you on this Friday morning. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
But we're still looking good on the area highways, making this traffic reports a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. Southbound 61 hooking up with eastbound 70 or 64, both fine across the Missouri River bridges. Seeing a bit of a jam up, of course, kids heading over to Francis Howell High School for the last day before the holiday weekend. So southbound 94 from 64 down to Highway D is pretty heavy at this point in time. Starting to see a little bit of a slowdown. Northbound 55 between Bayless and Weber, really not that bad. Northbound 141, a little busy at Gravois Bluffs. Eastbound 30, though, heading up the hill to 270 looks fine. 270 at Ladue looks good. Looks like we have an incident westbound 270 at Riverview, because I'm starting to see a little bit of a jam up there on westbound 270 as you come off the Chain of Rocks Bridge. So just be advised, it looks like there's some kind of a restriction at that location on westbound Highway 270. I can't really tell what it is right now. I'm trying to see if I can get a look at it, but I'm looking at the wrong direction. I'm looking westbound, so it is jammed there. But downtown, we look good across the popular Mutual Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
It is going to be a beautiful day, warm, 86 degrees. That's actually the hottest day of this forecast. 85 degrees tomorrow, 82 on Sunday, near 80 on Labor Day Monday. And right now we've got sunshine and 59 degrees.
And the news continues at 6:52. We're learning more about the Minneapolis church shooting that took the lives of 2 young children and injured 18 people. Police now say the suspect had been a member of the Catholic church where the shooting took place and may have visited that church in the weeks leading up to the attack to conduct surveillance. CBS News' Jared Hill.
Incredible sadness for the families of Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky, killed when a person opened fire on Annunciation Catholic Church Wednesday.
Give your kids an extra hug and kiss today.
Harper's parents wrote they are shattered and called on leaders to do more to address gun violence and mental health.
Police say hundreds of pieces of evidence have been recovered after they executed search warrants on 3 residences connected to the shooter. Investigators are also examining the suspect's electronic devices.
Police in 4 counties are one step closer to getting a new training facility. St. Louis, St. Charles, Franklin, and Jefferson counties have now all approved of a new regional law enforcement training center to be built. Jeffco Sheriff Dave Marshak says the main goal is to get all the departments trained under one roof.
I think the challenge today for law enforcement is a huge disparity
among the type and quality of training. And what we're seeing with the different departments and the different department sizes, it continues to be a challenge. So I think bringing all of the great instructors and the great leaders under one facility gives opportunity for those other communities to invest in their police officers properly.
The next step is to select a site, possibly near 64 and Highway 141. The new center will, in part, be funded by a $50 million state grant. The overall price of the building hasn't been released yet.
The city has announced leaders from all different kinds of organizations are forming a committee to tackle the tornado recovery effort.
In what can be compared to a St. Louis Avengers Endgame style cast, leaders from the region's realms of business, architecture, government, nonprofits, transportation, education, and more have formed 2 advisory committees to help Mayor Kara Spencer and the city form a vision of how St. Louis should rebuild from May's tornado. Mayor Spencer said it's clear to her that St. Louis's recovery depends on collaboration, and the plan cannot be created solely within City Hall. The over 30 leaders named to the committee do not make up the comprehensive list, as the city continues to take applications for more members. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It is 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout-out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family-owned and top-rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Friday, August 29th include, well, you know her as Rachel Berry on the television show Glee.
Get ready for me, love, because I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drama. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade.
That is actress Leah Michelle. She's 39 years old today. Actor Elliot Gould is 87, autism educator Temple Grandin 78, and Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch 58.
Local celebrity birthdays include a happy 47th to Doug Brandley, happy 83rd Jim Hrasky, Judy Worley, Barbara Mosley, Paul Muth, Alex Ferrario, happy 68th anniversary Deacon Joe and Evelyn from your parish family at St. Angela Merici, Keith Alper, Stephen Grigali, Guy Phillips, and happy Sweet 16 to Addison Frank from Mom, Dad, Lauren, and Harrison.
This is the best birthday ever.
Online security is a must, and millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer and more private online. And you can do that too. Get NordVPN with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic from data snoopers and internet service providers, while NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro will reduce risk of phishing and alert you about the fake online shops and known scams. And that's not all. If your email address is leaked to the dark web, you will get an instant notification from the Dark Web Monitor and act accordingly. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Missouri, get ready! DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. Later this football season, you'll be able to bet same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more right here in Missouri. Whether you're backing Kansas City to dominate on Sundays or sweating your basketball picks, DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you want to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. phone. And when we go live in Missouri, you'll be betting from home with the top-rated sportsbook trusted by millions. Safe, secure, and ready to deliver the action like never before. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX now to gear up for launch in Missouri. Be the first in line for exclusive promos and can't-miss offers. That's code KMOX in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements.
Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, how do things look out there?
Well, pretty good, Megan. It's pretty quiet on the area highways. There's just a little slowdown northbound 55 north of Bayless is really Weber to River de Pere, and it's looking better on westbound 270. We had an incident at Riverview. I'm not sure what it was, but they cleared it. There's still a little bit of a jam about midway between the canal and Chain Rocks Bridge, but once you get past that point, it opens up and runs well. And the rest of these highways look great right now. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday. It is the 29th of August. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and these are the stories making news.
Why hasn't there been a special session on redistricting called yet?
It sucks all the energy out of the room. It makes it hard to focus on anything else.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Sean Malone. After being criminally charged, the sheriff's attorney says the evidence will set him free.
We've all seen the video. What evidence are you confident in will free him?
Hear the answer to this question coming up.
St. Louis County Executive Page pleads not guilty to using public funds for a political mailer.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A nice day today, sunshine mixing with clouds, and warm this afternoon, our high 86.
And the time at the Tone is 7 o'clock.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A parent is sharing the unbearable pain of losing a child after this week's mass shooting at a Catholic school chapel in Minneapolis. Jesse Merkel's 8-year-old son Fletcher was one of 2 students killed.
Please remember Fletcher for the person he was and not the act that ended his life. Give your kids an extra hug and kiss today. We love you, Fletcher. You'll always be with us.
10-year-old Harper Moisky was also killed. 15 other children and 3 parishioners were wounded. Investigators say the suspect visited the sanctuary 2 weeks ago to scope it out before the attack. 4 top-ranking CDC officials have quit in protest after Director Susan Menares was fired this week over vaccine policy. Part of the exodus, Dr. Deb Oury.
We need a scientific leader at the agency, and without that, we knew that we couldn't continue.
Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
There's a lot of trouble at CDC, and it's going to require getting rid of some people over the long term in order for us to change the institutional culture.
As top deputy Jim O'Neill has been named acting director. In a touche to President Trump, California Governor Newsom is sending highway patrol teams into major cities to fight crime.
Newsom says crime is down overall across the state, but the CHP will help target certain areas of Los Angeles, San Diego, Sacramento, and the Bay Area. He was asked if the CHP surge is an attempt to prevent President Trump from deploying more National Guard troops to California.
We're not reacting and responding to anything, quite the contrary, with one caveat: the community wants to see more.
Last year, Newsom sent CHP teams to Oakland, Bakersfield, and San Bernardino when crime rates in those areas soared. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The Israeli military says it's recovered the bodies of 2 hostages during an offensive in Gaza City. The IDF says one, Ilan Weiss, was an Israeli man killed in the October 7th attack. The name of the second person hasn't been released yet. Lots of people will be getting away this weekend. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
The FAA is forecasting the busiest Labor Day in 15 years. Most Americans will drive, finding gas prices on average about 15 cents a gallon cheaper.
The average projected to be $3.15 a gallon. Health experts say there's another reason to get a shingles vaccine.
The first global study of its kind finds adults as young as 18 who've had the shingles vaccine are up to 20% less likely to suffer a heart attack or stroke. That may prompt a change in current guidance, limiting access mostly to older people or immunosuppressed adults.
CBS's Vicki Barker. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
It is 7:04, and we do have sunshine in downtown St. Louis. It is 60 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. We're keeping our ear to Jefferson City to see if there will be a special session to make the redistricting maps more favorable to Republicans. The call is Governor Mike Kehoe's. He didn't give KMOX a hint to his thinking when we asked him this week.
But St. Louis County Democratic State Representative Ian Mackey says there are reasons why the governor has not done this yet.
It sucks all the energy out of the room. It makes it hard to focus on anything else.
KMOX asked if Mackey thinks Republicans will only try to redraw the Kansas City-centered seat in an effort to oust Democrat Emmanuel Cleaver, or could they also look at Wesley Bell and try to eliminate both Democrats?
I mean, that's really the only one that they can tinker with. It's the only one that, already extends from the city, out to Lafayette County and into, some more rural areas. It's the only one that really, they're going to have to probably tinker with some other ones due to population changes, and they may have to tinker a little bit with Ann Wagner's. But, it's going to be making his district redder is going to make Mark Alford's district a little more Democratic. So that's going to be, something that they're going to have to work out.
Right now, the state has 6 Republicans and 2 Democrats in the U.S. House. That means Republicans have 75% of the seats. A redrawn map could give them 87% of the seats. Governor Kehoe won election with 59% of the vote. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery has been criminally charged.
Sheriff Alfred Montgomery has been charged with 1 misdemeanor count of deprivation of rights under color of law for detaining Deputy Commissioner of the St. Louis City Justice Center, Tammy Ross, back in February. Montgomery's attorney, Justin Gelfand, maintains his client's innocence.
We believe that the evidence will free him, and we look forward to representing him in this case.
Ross's detainment by Montgomery was captured on surveillance footage. Asked what evidence they have, Gelfand didn't share any. Instead, he pointed to state statute, which he says allows the sheriff to enforce certain criminal statutes. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
An attorney for St. Louis County Executive Sam Page entered a not guilty plea on his behalf Thursday to charges of misdemeanor election offenses and felony stealing. The indictment alleges Page illegally used public funds on a mailer to campaign against Prop B, a ballot measure that would have limited his power. Page's office has defended the mailer as allowable public education. The next court date in the case, September 23rd.
A Chesterfield man is facing charges after police say he struck a 9-year-old child while attempting to illegally pass a school bus Wednesday. The St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office charging 35-year-old Dante DeVito with DWI and leaving the scene of an accident. According to officials, DeVito was intoxicated with drugs when he hit the child, who suffered a fractured elbow and a concussion. DeVito was found a short distance away from that crash. He was arrested and is being held on $250,000 bond.
While some Cardinals season ticket prices will go up next season, there's also a fair amount of misinformation about that pricing.
Cardinal season ticket renewals have been sent out, and there's been a lot of social media chatter about ticket prices. Based on some postings, it would seem as if price increases are extreme. But Cardinal Senior Vice President for Business Operations, Anouk Karunaratne, says that's not the case. And in fact, many seats have had price decreases.
The average season ticket price increase across all price scales is around 2.5%. So that's the average. Nearly a third of our seating locations have either no price increase or have decreased in price. And that's the first time we've significantly decreased prices.
Karunaratne also says the club is implementing a payment plan option for the first time ever. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
9 Mile Garden is expanding. The region's first food truck plaza in Afton will open an 18,000 square foot indoor event center. in the space previously occupied by O'Reilly Auto Parts, which downsized. The canteen, the indoor bar area, will be moved into that new space that will have a walk-up bar and patio and the ability to host events like parties and weddings.
Looks like it's going to be a really nice Labor Day weekend. We'll get you an update on the forecast and also the roads this morning in 2 minutes. It's 7:08.
Hi, I'm Andrew Suntrup. Buying your brand new Buick or GMC has never been easier. Here at Suntrup Buick GMC, our family-owned and operated dealership has been proudly servicing St. Charles County for over 30 years by always providing aggressive pricing, a massive inventory selection, and exceptional customer service. Buying from Suntrup means you get the best vehicle at the best price. Visit Suntrup Buick GMC today or visit us online at suntrupbuickgmc.com and save more at Suntrup Buick GMC.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Registered by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. Let's get you updated on your ride in and our beautiful weekend weather. Roger Brand joins us first from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways and the weather are going hand in hand, Debbie. It's beautiful out there as well on the drive in. A nice morning weather-wise. The sun's out. I don't know if it's warm enough to have the top down. I guess that's up to you if you can do that or open the sunroof. But highway-wise, we're good to go. I mean, the little delays we had, North 55 running up through the Bayless-Weber area thinned out. Westbound 270 thinned out between the Canal and Shannon Rocks bridges. We had an earlier incident at Riverview, but they quickly cleared it. Seeing a bit of a backup southbound Route 3, south of 270. Before you get to West Pontoon, but road work goes on there every day, so that's the reason for the heavy traffic through there. Obviously, you're seeing a little heavy traffic on 141 southbound coming through Gravois Bluffs, a little busy at 44, but again, all in all, everything's pretty much moving along without delays as far as interstates go right now. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunshine today, mixing with some clouds at times, and warm this afternoon with a high of 86. Tonight will be mainly clear with a low of 55 to the east of the city, about 62 downtown at the Arch. Sunshine mixing with clouds, another warm day tomorrow, high 85. For Sunday, sunshine dimmed by some high clouds, the high temperature 82. Monday, Labor Day, clouds will limit sunshine, the high close to 80. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have sunny skies this morning, 61 degrees in Florissant. It's 58 in St. Peter's, 59 downtown at the Arch.
I'll tell you about a Cards win yesterday and who they're banking on in a weekend series coming up in Cincinnati.
It is 7:12. Don't stress over Lufthansa's decision to pause flights between St. Louis and Frankfurt, Germany, the region's main link to mainland Europe. They'll be doing that for a month over the winter. The flight's seats are typically more than 90% sold, and the company has said it is pleased with the route. Industry analyst Henry Hartevelt with Atmosphere Research Group tells KMOX a lot of issues today come down to aircraft availability.
I know for a fact from having spoken with Lufthansa Group executives that several of their airlines are waiting for new airplanes. That includes the Lufthansa airline unit. And if Lufthansa gets more of those planes, perhaps the airline will be in a position to increase its flights to St. Louis.
Lufthansa says the St. Louis pause is happening in other U.S. cities in February as well because of seasonal aircraft rotation. The suspension is between February 1st and 27th. Flights should resume March 1st.
The national average price for a gallon of regular unleaded gasoline now $3.21.
Which affects you if you're one of the millions traveling this weekend. Missouri's average is lower, $2.87. In fact, gas is 18 cents cheaper overall compared to last year. Hotels are 2% cheaper. Airfare is 8% more expensive. So where's everybody going? AAA reporting the most popular destination is Seattle, followed by Orlando, New York, Boston, and Anchorage, rounding out the top 5. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
If you plan to travel overseas in the coming months, CBS travel editor Peter Greenberg says now is the time to book it.
$258 round trip on a $129 one-way ticket, but you can book them as one-ways, which might give you more flexibility in case you have to change your flights. But the bottom line is, with that huge drop-off in international travelers to the United States for the summer, that's not going to go anywhere else but further down for the fall and winter months, which are traditionally lighter anyway, and the airlines have to fill those seats. They have a lot of empty seats. You're going to see airfare sales pop up. They'll pop up in terms of booking, starting around October 5th till around December 10th. But you're going to have to start booking them in the next 10 days.
Chicago-based Walgreens has a new owner, a new CEO, and a new business plan. Here's Rob Hart.
The acquisition of Walgreens Boots Alliance by Sycamore Partners is now official. Forbes healthcare writer Bruce Jabson tells the Noon Business Hour that the sale price tells the story.
It was not long ago that this company was worth $100 billion in market capitalization, and now the Sycamore Partners, which is more known in the retail space than in the healthcare space for sure, is purchasing them and taking them private for $10 billion.
Walgreens is going from a publicly traded company to privately held. Jabson expects Walgreens to continue closing stores and to focus on the core pharmacy business. The company announced last fall that it's closing 1,200 of its 8,400 stores.
KMOX reported on the problem St. Louisans have had getting their prescriptions filled at Walgreens pharmacies across the region, which seem to close randomly due to staffing issues. Walgreens has also closed 4 stores in the city and county over the last year.
Cards looking at a split with the Pirates yesterday afternoon at Busch Stadium. Miles Michaelis making the start, and he was greeted by old friend Tommy Pham. He had already driven in the game-winning runs Wednesday night. Well, he homers on the first pitch yesterday from Michaelis. Michaelis does end up stranding 2 in the inning, and it was 1-0 Pittsburgh, and it stayed that way until Ivan Herrera tied the game in the third.
And we'll be back on Sunday. Breaking pitch is hammered down the left field line. That was a hanger, and that's going to the wall. Nootbaar is headed towards third base. They're going to send him home. Bam hits the cutoff man, and the throw is bobbled at short. And now they've got Herrera in a rundown as they're going to end up tagging him out eventually. Way too many throws. Here's the 4th throw, and they finally get him. But the double by Herrera scores Nootbaar from first base, and the Cardinals have tied it at 1.
Michaelis allowed just a run on 4 hits through 5 innings yesterday. He struck out 5, and he walked just 1. Kyle Leahy struck out 4 in 2 scoreless innings, and it was 1-1 into the bottom of the 7th inning. Mason Wynn walked to lead off the inning, and Thomas Sajaci put the Cards on top.
Ramirez set and the pitch, and that ball is hit into the right center field gap, and it's going to be over the head of Cruz and off the wall. Wynn's going to round third base. They're going to try to score him. The play at the plate, not in time. The Cardinals take the lead in the bottom of the 7th inning with Thomas Sajaci hitting a double off the right center field wall. RBI number 16 for him, and it's 2-1 St. Louis.
Well, then it's Jordan Walker, and while Sajaci just missed, Walker got it.
Sajaci takes his lead, and that ball's hit hard to left center field. That's deep. It's back to the wall, and it is gone. A big fly for Jordan Walker. His 5th of the year, and the Cardinals have broken it open here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the Cardinals lead 4-1.
Riley O'Brien, a scoreless 8th inning. He turns things over to JoJo Romero in the 9th. Romero erases a leadoff single with a double play and then faces Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with 2 outs.
Now 2-2 on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. A swing, and that ball is hit into center field. Caught!
on the run by Sajaci for a Redbird winner. Looked like that ball might get down, but Sajaci with good speed ran it down. And the fireworks go off in downtown St. Louis as the Cardinals gain a split in this series by beating the Pirates today 4-1.
And they open a 3-game series in Cincinnati tonight. Matthew Liberatore takes the ball for the Redbirds. He's 6-11 with a 4.27 ERA and 24 starts this season. He is the player to bank on, brought to you by Community America Credit Union, that is, invested in you. First pitch is 5:40. Amerant total access is 4:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at my favorite sports fantasy app, Underdog. So baseball's still going on. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. You can play right now in Missouri. Playing on Underdog is super easy. Just choose whether your favorite player will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code Glover to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Glover. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog, and you could be next. Underdog, make plays, win money. I have had so much fun on this app, had a great time with my beloved St. Louis Cardinals, now gearing up for the NFL season. Play and win at Underdog using promo code Glover to score $50.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman here. I have a question for you. Are you in the market for a new car? Let Genesis of St. Charles bring that test drive right to you. They are closer than you think, or you can stop by for exclusive in-store offers. Genesis of St. Charles has the largest selection of new Genesis models in stock, ready for you to drive home. They are the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025, based on GMA sales records for 2024. Genesis of St. Charles. You can buy online and let them deliver to you, or you can go into 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway in St. Peters off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and see for yourself. Luxury selection, luxury service. They are Genesis of St. Charles. They're Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership. Genesis of St. Charles, genesisofstcharles.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20, and this is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, no complaints on these roadways. We're getting a little volume every once in a while, Debbie. You start to see a little bit of a slowdown again between Weber and River to Bear, really, on northbound 55. It looks good other than that. On eastbound Highway 30, east of Mauer up the hill to 270, a little bit of a slowdown. But 270 itself looks okay. 55 up through that Gravois area past Ladue, both directions. 270 still hustling along. Southbound 61 looks good coming down onto 64 or 70 out of Wentzville across the Missouri River bridges. There are no delays. Downtown, we still look great. Westbound across the Poplar, Musial Veterans Bridges, everything's back on the go. Westbound 270 to Chain Rocks. We had some issues there briefly earlier, but they've cleared out. They picked up that road work, by the way. Eastbound 64 at 158, the ramps reopened. That happened, about 30 minutes ago, I guess, really. And 64 between 158 and Green Mountain, that construction's all wrapped up. And again, temporary restrictions, not the kind that are concrete barriers, but the temporary daytime roadwork stuff should be wrapped up by noon on the Missouri side, and by 3 on the Illinois side is the usual routine for the holiday weekends. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather now sponsored by Spire, your natural gas provider. Sunny to partly cloudy, pleasantly warm today, a high of 86. Clear tonight with an overnight low around 60. And sunny tomorrow. We may see a few clouds. It'll be warm again, a high of 85. Right now we have sunny skies, 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. Spire has a fresh new look coming your way. They're updating their envelope color from orange to white in August. Be on the lookout for your Spire natural gas bill arriving in a fresh white envelope.
We are learning more about the Minneapolis church shooting that took the lives of 2 young children and injured 18 people. Police now say the suspect had been a member of the Catholic Church where the shooting took place and may have visited the church in the weeks leading up to the attack to conduct surveillance.
The city of Minneapolis says the number of injured in the shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School is up from 17 to 18 after learning of an additional injury after the shooter opened fire through a window into the church where students were gathered for school mass. The killing sparking raw emotion in America as police investigate another mass shooting here.
All they should be hoping to do is have someone to sit with at lunch or someone to play with on the playground. And sorry, this is a tough one.
That's Jen Psaki on MSNBC. She was upset with what is a reoccurring tragedy in America and with Republican leaders offering thoughts and prayers.
Join all of us in praying for the victims was Vice President J.D. Vance's response today. That's what he said. That's it. Please join me in praying for everyone involved, Trump wrote. We have seen this play out over and over again. There is a shooting, then come the thoughts and prayers, and then comes the attempt to shift the focus. This is what always happens.
The White House bit back.
I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than ever.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called the comments insensitive and disrespectful.
To the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country.
This is the investigation into Wednesday's shooting continues. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara with a request of the media.
Stop saying the shooter's name. That was the whole purpose of why he did this heinous act.
An exact motive still being looked into, but the chief said,
what we have seen so far is this is an individual who, unfortunately, like so many other mass shooters that we have seen in this country too often and around the world, had some deranged fascination with previous mass shootings.
The chief said there's evidence of hate in the shooting, but it's not clear if the shooter had a specific grievance against the church or the school. There hasn't been any evidence so far, according to the chief, that shows ties to a radical group. But what are described as hundreds of pages of writing showed that the shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. Police recovered approximately 116 rifle rounds from the church, 1 live round from a handgun, and 3 shotgun shells. I'm Clayton Neville.
President Trump's administration continues to talk about sending federal troops into Chicago. Haley Henson reports that community organizations, faith leaders, and elected officials are denouncing those threats.
Holding signs reading "No Trump, no troops" and "Fight for the public good," organizers called out what they called the hypocrisy of sending military forces into Chicago while withholding federal funds for community-based programs.
I don't care what party you're in. The authoritarianism that we're facing right now calls on you to stand up and fight back against it.
State Senator Robert Peters.
This is an issue about our safety, our dignity, our well-being, and freedom.
They're calling for genuine solutions, not militarization.
Governor Gavin Newsom, meanwhile, is deploying more California Highway Patrol teams to major cities to fight crime.
Newsom says crime is down overall across the state, but the CHP will help target certain areas of Los Angeles, San Diego, Sacramento, and the Bay Area. He was asked if the CHP surge is an attempt to prevent President Trump from deploying more National Guard troops to California.
We're not reacting, responding to anything, quite the contrary, with one caveat: the community wants to see more.
Last year, Newsom sent CHP teams to Oakland, Bakersfield, and San Bernardino when crime rates in those areas soared. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Looks like St. Louis City is going to be overhauling the family and medical leave policy. We'll have more on that at the bottom of the hour. It's 7:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Most people have no idea there's an invisible gap in their home's protection. This invisible threat is house stealing. Con artists pick a house. They transfer the deed of this house into their name by obtaining the forms, using the fake IDs, and filing the paperwork with proper authorities. Now they own the home. Protect your home from this invisible gap. Check on your home's title right now at HomeTitleLock.com. Be sure to use promo code RADIO and they will send you a complete title scan of your home's title. And your first 30 days of triple lock title protection is free. HomeTitleLock.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
You all remember me mentioning my wife's thermostat being broke because of the, the change of women evidently have to go through, which is horrible. People called me asking me, how did she feel about me sharing her insanity? I did notice seeing her looking through a fork at me. So, hey, guys, if your wife, your girlfriend, your better half is looking through a fork at you, look it up. Why? You're going to be shocked. But she's still happy that she's got air conditioning. So you need help. You need pricing. Somebody told you need new equipment. Remember, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. But guys, look up wives looking through forks at husband. You better change your program around. God bless.
It is 7:30, and right now we've got sunshine, 61 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch, and let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways are looking good right now, Megan. It's a little bit busier, so there's a little volume, but not much. If you're on northbound Highway 270, we've got some slow stuff both sides of Gravois. There's a slowdown 44 up to about Big Bend and a little busy approaching Manchester, but it looks good both ways through the work zone at Ladue. Southbound 61 coming down on eastbound 64 70 out of Wentzville. Everything's in good shape there. Northbound 55, just that usual slow stuff. North of Bayless up to River de Pere is kind of busy, but not jammed. Downtown, we're still good to go westbound. No delays across the Poplar or Musial Veterans Bridges. They're reporting a crash in the median eastbound 44 at the 224 mile marker out in Franklin County. So watch that if you're headed through the Sullivan area, but I don't see any delays there right now. I do see a bit of a backup northbound 109 at LaSalle Springs Middle School. Everybody's dropping their kids off for a Friday morning there. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you enjoy the weather we've been having this week, you'll be happy to know it continues for at least the next week. We're looking at 86 degrees today with sunny to partly cloudy skies. That's the hottest day of this 5-day forecast. 85 tomorrow, 82 Sunday, Labor Day Monday, near 80. It's 61 right now.
It's 7:31. Facing mounting complaints of abuse, Mayor Kara Spencer is overhauling St. Louis City's family and medical leave policy.
Department heads, including the fire chief, Dennis Jankerson, have argued that the program is draining budgets and forcing them to rack up costly overtime. Under the new rules, city employees have to use their vacation and sick time first before tapping into the 6 weeks of paid leave. The change is aimed at redirecting the paid leave benefit to those with serious illnesses or new babies, while also getting city services back on track. The Post-Dispatch reports that former Mayor Tashara Jones, who created the policy, admits that it was implemented without enough safeguards. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
City has announced that leaders from all different organizations are forming a committee to tackle the tornado recovery effort.
In what can be compared to a St. Louis Avengers Endgame style cast, leaders from the region's realms of business, architecture, government, nonprofits, transportation, education, and more have formed 2 advisory committees to help Mayor Kara Spencer and the city form a vision of how St. Louis should rebuild from May's tornado. Mayor Spencer said it's clear to her that St. Louis's recovery depends on collaboration and the plan cannot be created solely within City Hall. The over 30 leaders named to the committee do not make up the comprehensive list as the city continues to take applications for more members. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
About $20 million in funds for road projects in St. Louis County have been taken back by MoDOT because they didn't spend the money fast enough. MoDOT has been threatening for a few years to snatch back federal money for local projects, saying backlogs can mean fewer federal funds in the future. That's according to the Post-Dispatch. MoDOT will put that money towards state-sponsored road jobs, but says it will keep it in the area.
Build-A-Bear reporting a record first half of the year with revenue climbing more than 11%. The success driven by higher store traffic, new international locations, and a social media strategy that's successfully reaching the growing kidult or adult collector market. Despite facing rising tariff costs, investors reacted positively to the news, sending the downtown St. Louis-based company's stock up about 15%.
Your money report is coming up. This news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:34.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
It is 7:35 and time for your money report, which is sponsored by Busey Bank.
Good morning. TransUnion says hackers accessed the personal information of more than 4 million customers. The credit reporting agency says data stored on a third-party application was compromised. TransUnion insists that no credit information was accessed, but didn't reveal what kind of personal data was hacked. The company stores the financial data of more than 260 million Americans. TransUnion is working with law enforcement. Pink slips are being handed out at Nike. The athletic wear giant is laying off about 1% of its corporate employees. Based on how many workers Nike has, that comes out to about 780 employees. Senior management says the moves are about setting themselves up to win. The brand has been working on a turnaround effort after a number of missteps in recent years. And Europeans still aren't buying Tesla's electric cars. Sales are plunging, down 40% in July compared to last year in 27 EU countries. The company hopes to turn things around when it introduces cheaper vehicles to the market soon. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Energy security isn't a slogan, it's a necessity. American-made energy means we call the shots instead of depending on foreign sources to fill our tanks. Made here in America, ethanol keeps gas prices lower at the pump. It's reliable, creates jobs, and strengthens farming communities. Tell Congress to support nationwide year-round access to E15, a lower-cost fuel made with 15% ethanol, because American-made energy should come first. paid for by the Renewable Fuels Association.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Did you know that McKelvey builds custom homes on individual sites throughout the metropolitan area? We have sites in prime locations from Rock Hill to Wildwood, including several in the coveted Ladue School District. Experience why many have chosen McKelvey Homes with our legendary quality and personalized service to build their dream home. Visit our newly completed Turnberry at 19 Beaver Drive, just north of Ladue and east of Lindbergh. It is loaded with features and now open. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Today, the Cards, the Reds. Ameren Total Access 445. Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Another check of the morning rush coming up in 1 minute. But first, you wouldn't expect a tick bite to change your diet. But for some Missourians, that's exactly what alpha-gal syndrome has done.
People with the allergy can have a range of reactions after eating red meat or other mammal-derived products, such as becoming extremely sick or having difficulty breathing. Rachel O'Halloran is a nutrition and health specialist with MU Extension. She tells Missouri Net some people have tried acupuncture to get relief from symptoms.
For some individuals, acupuncture can result in a reduction of symptoms for a period of time, but some individuals then have those symptoms return at a greater sensitivity. And for some individuals, there is no reduction in symptoms. So I would say that at this time, we have very limited studies.
MU Extension is asking residents to go to extension.missouri.edu to take the Alpha-Gal Syndrome survey to help them shape future education efforts across the state. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Hey, it's 7:40. Are you just on your way out the door? Hopefully nothing in your way, although Fridays are usually a little gentler. But let's check with Roger Brandt. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, this would be the peak time for the rush hour, Debbie. Traffic at its busiest on the area highways. Now, there's some volume, but gosh, it's just the world's better, especially compared to yesterday. Northbound 55, we have a little bit of a slowdown north of Bayless up to River to Pear. North 270 briefly slow just north of Gravois. Manchester about midway up to Clayton Road. South 270 south of Olive down to Ladue. That's a little on the slow side now as well. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or 70 coming out of Wentzville across the Missouri River bridges still look okay. It's a little busy passing Clarkson eastbound 64. Westbound 64, the Tam overpass headed out through Big Bend. That looks a little heavy. Eastbound 30, approaching Mauer Industrial up the hill to 270. That's a little slow. 141 northbound from 55. Looks like up to Old Missouri State. We've got some, or Astor Way at least, maybe signal problems there because it looks like that's becoming more of a jam. And downtown, we're still okay. Westbound 64 is still busy at the 70 split, but no delays across the Poplar or Muswell Veterans Bridges so far. Next update at 7:50 for the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's see what the weekend holds for Labor Day. Joe Lundberg joining us from AccuWeather. Joe, what's it look like over the weekend?
Over the weekend, it looks like it's going to be pretty quiet, Megan. I mean, really not much to worry about in terms of weather. Just some clouds at times, but I don't think there's any rain in the forecast. Sunshine today will start to mix with some high clouds this afternoon. A warm start to their entrance into the weekend, a high 86. And tonight, mainly clear, 55 in some of the suburbs to our east and Metro East, 62 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, sun mixes with a few more high clouds, but still warm, about 85. Those clouds will dim the sunshine Sunday at its effective warming power, about 82. I think Labor Day is going to be dry with clouds and some sun, the high 80. If there's a shower, I think the chance is a little bit higher for Tuesday. Tuesday's high about 80 with clouds and some sun. Right now, 60 at St. Peter's, 64 at Florissant, sunshine at 66 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. Opening night at Mizzou last night, and the Tigers put on a show. I'll tell you all about it coming up in sports.
It is 7:42. Lufthansa taking a breather. Its seemingly successful St. Louis to Germany nonstop flight will take the month of February off. Is this cause for concern? KMOX's Michael Calhoun asks industry analyst Henry Hartevelt with Atmosphere Research Group.
A lot of airlines worldwide, U.S. and foreign flag, are scaling back their flights during the off-peak winter season, including February. So I can't say I'm surprised Lufthansa is temporarily dropping the Frankfurt-St. Louis route for the month.
Now, I'm trying to find the specific load factors, but I don't think it's gone. Here we go. For the month of May, Frankfurt was 92%, 97% outbound.
Yeah, it certainly looks like the flight overall is performing well for Lufthansa with load factors, the percentage of seats that are occupied by paying passengers, 90% or more. And that's great. And hopefully also it's a profitable route for Lufthansa. Airlines do a lot of their heavy maintenance work on their aircraft during winter season when demand is softer. And Lufthansa is refitting their planes with new seats and other enhancements for the cabins. So it's very possible that the aircraft that they normally use that would support Frankfurt St. Louis could be scheduled for a maintenance overhaul during the month of February.
The last time we heard from Lufthansa, they sounded thrilled with it. They basically said, we would like to add, because it's 3 days a week now, we'd like to extend that, but we just don't have the planes.
Right. Lufthansa, like a lot of airlines, are anxiously waiting for deliveries of new airplanes. Both Boeing and Airbus are way behind in delivering aircraft, not necessarily because of their problems, but because of challenges in getting seats, galleys, lavatories, engines, and other components from various partners delivered and installed on time. So I know for a fact from having spoken with Lufthansa Group executives that several of their airlines are waiting for new airplanes. That includes the Lufthansa airline unit. And if Lufthansa gets more of those planes, perhaps the airline will be in a position to increase its flights to St. Louis.
So bottom line, their statement says it's seasonal aircraft rotation. A number of cities are going to see adjustments, and that March 1st, it all comes back. So I guess bottom line for St. Louisans based on that?
Bottom line for St. Louisans is the month of February will be a month without a nonstop flight on Lufthansa to Frankfurt. The planes will start operating again beginning of March. And what we're seeing from Lufthansa is typical of airlines right now. They are reducing flights on routes during off-peak months like February, just on routes that may not be as profitable or may not be profitable at all. It's sound business practices, but Lufthansa appears to be committed to St. Louis, and that's what I would focus on.
It is 7:46.
Opening night last night in Columbia had Mizzou playing host to Central Arkansas in the kickoff to the Tigers' 2025 season. Mizzou rolls up 560 yards of total offense in a 61-6 rout of the Bears. 11th straight win overall at home for the Tigers. They go up 61-0 before the Bears got their only score, a touchdown that came with 22 seconds to play in the game. New Tigers quarterback Bo Pribula threw for 283 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Pribula has yet to throw. Stretching the field. He's got a man. Complete. End zone. Speedy. Marquise Johnson. And that's a memorable first for Bo Pribula.
That's the SEC network, and that's his first strike. It came with 11:06 to play in the first to Marquise Johnson. Johnson goes for 134 yards receiving in the game. Pribula also rushed for a pair of touchdowns.
Did not see the tight ends. Two involved in the pass game. Pribula nowhere to go. Dancing. Pump fake. He's got it clearing. Pribula, the wheels, ball, nose, touchdowns.
All of this came after Sam Horn started the game. He was knocked out of the game in the first play. A hard hit knocked him out of the game. Mizzou welcomes Kansas to Faurot Field a week from Saturday. It's the first time the Tigers and Jayhawks have met on the football field since 2011. Number 12, Illinois opens its season tonight in Champaign when it plays host to Western Illinois at Memorial Stadium. That's a 6:30 kickoff on Peacock Network. St. Louis City is back at Energizer Park tomorrow night. It plays its first game since the dismissal of sporting director Lutz Pfannenstiel last week. City will face Houston at 7:30. Pregame is 7:15 on our sister station, Y98. The Cardinals, meanwhile, finished off a series with the Pirates yesterday afternoon at Busch. It was a 1-1 game in the seventh when Thomas Saggese drove home Mason Wynn to put the Redbirds up 2-1. Jordan Walker followed with a blast to left center.
Saggese takes his lead, and that ball's hit hard to left center field. That's deep. It's back to the wall, and it is gone. A big fly for Jordan Walker. His fifth of the year, and the Cardinals have broken it open here in the bottom of the seventh inning. And the Cardinals lead 4-1.
And they win it 4-1. They split the 4-game set. They're off to Cincinnati to start a 3-game series tonight with the Reds. Matthew Liberatore starts for the Cards. He's 6-11, and he'll be up against Zach Littell, who is 9-8. First pitch comes at 5:40 Central Time. Ameren Total Access pregame show gets underway at 4:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Most people have no idea there's an invisible gap in their home's protection. This invisible threat is house stealing. Con artists pick a house. They transfer the deed of this house into their name by obtaining the forms, using the fake IDs, and filing the paperwork with proper authorities. Now they own the home. Protect your home from this invisible gap. Check on your home's title right now at HomeTitleLock.com. Be sure to use promo code RADIO, and they will send you a complete title scan of your home's title. And your first 30 days of triple lock title protection is free. HomeTitleLock.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
Representative Jason Smith stopped a massive tax hike by voting to make the 20% small business tax deduction permanent. This means Missouri's small businesses can grow, hire, and invest in our communities. Visit smallbusinessdeduction.com and thank Representative Smith for protecting America's small businesses. Paid for by the National Federation of Independent Business.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelley Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:51. Let's see if things are still fairly clear out there. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, you know, it's a light morning, Megan, when you don't even get any notifications from IDOT about stalled vehicles on the highway. Usually those come out fairly regularly, but they've been quiet as well because the highways just aren't that bad. A little busy. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River de Pere. There's a little slow down there. North 270, a little slow, approaching 44, right through Doherty Ferry. Manchester, midway up to Clayton Road, and right through 64 again. That's just off the pace. South 270, approaching Olive down to Ladue is slow. If you're on eastbound 64 out west, southbound 61, eastbound 6470 look great out of Wentzville, but 64 is slow east of Clarkson, most of the way to Timberlake. between the Ballas area and Spady toward Lindbergh's a little heavy, a little busy around Big Bend. Westbound 64 from Tam, headed out to Hanley. That's off the pace right now. And downtown, we still look good. Westbound across the Poplar Musial Veterans Bridge, just no issues there. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 7:52, and we're going to have a beautiful weekend in store. Any outdoor plans you have, no problem. No rain in this forecast at all. Today, 86 degrees, partly cloudy, and tomorrow, sun and clouds, 85. Then we'll be in the low 80s Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We've got 61 degrees downtown now.
The news continues at 7:52. First responders in Valley Park successfully rescue one person who was trapped in a collapsed structure on Vest Avenue. Firefighters from Valley Park and several other districts responded to the scene, where it took crews about 25 minutes to free the person. The Valley Park Professional Firefighters Community Outreach thanked all of the assisting districts for their collaborative effort on the specialized call. The group also thanked the Kirkwood and Monarch fire departments for covering their district during that rescue. The condition of the person rescued is unknown.
And happening overnight, first responders rescued a driver who was trapped in a car that crashed off I-44 in Lindbergh in Kirkwood. Witnesses say that car landed in the backyard and was found behind the Stonecrest townhomes. Neighbors credited first responders for their quick action.
A federal grand jury has indicted St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery on misdemeanor count of deprivation of rights. The charge stems from a February incident where Montgomery is accused of ordering the deputy commissioner of the St. Louis City Justice Center, Tammy Ross, to be detained. After the hearing, U.S. Attorney Tom Albus told Fox 2,
"This is just the beginning of the process. We look forward to presenting our case in court."
He says that case was investigated by the FBI. The indictment lays out not only how and where Sheriff Montgomery allegedly directed the handcuffing of the jail administrator, but also how the law doesn't give the sheriff's department the authority to make arrests. Only police can legally do that. The sheriff's attorney, Justin Gelfand, maintains his client's innocence.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page pleading not guilty Thursday to felony charges that he illegally used public funds for a political mailer. The indictment claims Page used taxpayer money to campaign against Proposition B, the ballot measure that would have limited his power to appoint department heads. Page's office maintained the mailer was legal and intended only to educate the public. The next court hearing is scheduled for September 23rd.
Police still searching for 67-year-old Bill Crispin, who was last seen near Frank Scott Parkway and Illinois Route 159 in Fairview Heights. Crispin is a white male, 6'4", 240 pounds. He wears glasses and was last seen wearing a blue shirt. Authorities are asking residents near Frank Scott Parkway and Old Collinsville Road to check their Ring cameras for any signs of Crispin. If you have any information, please contact the Swansea Police Department.
The funeral arrangements are announced for longtime Jefferson County politician Ken Waller.
63-year-old Ken Waller had just announced at the beginning of August that he intended to run for state senate next year. He died at his home in Herculaneum on Sunday. Dennis Gannon, County Executive for Jefferson County.
Yeah, actually shocked, sad. And as I've said, Ken was a man for all of Jefferson County. Did not matter who, what, where, when, or why, but Ken was a guy for Jefferson County. And he will be missed. And I sure pray for his family.
Funeral service for Ken Waller will be Saturday at 10:30 at Grace Life Chapel in Peevely. Graveside service will be at Peaceful Ridge Cemetery in DeSoto. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
We'll get another check of the roads here in just a few minutes. It's 7:55.
The smartest way to do your homework is Heckman Lumber.
Warm weather means homework for homeowners. And for 80 years, Hackman Lumber has been a trusted name for home improvement. If your homework means a new deck, turn to the deck experts at Hackman Lumber. Browse the largest inventory of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. Talk with their experts about treated lumber, cedar, TimberTech, Trex, Envision, AZEK, and decorators to find the perfect deck for you. Choose from endless railings, balusters, and LED deck lighting options. And they will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Hackman has you covered. Building a new fence or replacing an old one? Hackman Lumber now carries in stock Eastern Red Cedar, the perfect choice for long-lasting, beautiful landscaping. Inventory includes 4x4 and 6x6 posts, dog ear pickets, and 2x4 framing. Homeowners and pros will find everything they need to build it right the first time. Visit Hackman Lumber's newly remodeled stores in St. Peters, Pacific, and Troy, Missouri.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams.
OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Let's get you updated on the ride in. Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a good run on a Friday morning. I mean, it's a little busy, but certainly worlds better than what we had yesterday. Obviously, if you're on southbound 270 right now, north of Olive, down to Ladue, that's busy. Northbound 270 looks good at the south end. It's just kind of slow through Manchester, both sides, and then it starts picking up the pace. If you're on northbound Highway 55, looks good north of Bayless. Now, still seeing this backup northbound 141 from Old Lime Ferry up to Astro Way. I think it's signal problem. Southbound, not much of a backup, but northbound, a solid jam through there, so just be advised of that. If you're on eastbound Highway 64, there's some slow stuff from about Ballas up to Lindbergh. Westbound 64 from Tam out to Big Bend is heavy. If you're headed in on eastbound 70 coming in from Wentzville, that looks great. And we're still clear, just a little heavy at the Illinois end of the Poplar westbound. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have sunny skies, 67 degrees. This is Friday, August 29th. These are the stories making news.
A special session. Will it happen or not?
I hope it's not going to happen, and I kind of think it's not going to happen.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. As St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery has been criminally charged.
We believe that the evidence will free him, and we look forward to representing him in this case.
I've got that story coming up.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page pleads not guilty to using public funds for a political mailer.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunny to partly cloudy today and warm this afternoon with a high of 86.
At the tone, it's 8 o'clock in Mid-America and time for CBS News.
Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for Breaking News. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez, and we begin with developing news from Washington. President Trump has just canceled Kamala Harris' Secret Service protection. Correspondent Michael Wallace.
The former vice president's detail will leave her Monday. The Secret Service usually protects a former VP for 6 months after they've left office. Had President Biden not extended Harris's protection, it would have expired last month. The cancellation comes as Harris is about to start a nationwide tour promoting her new book about her presidential campaign.
Heartbroken parents are sharing memories of 2 children shot to death in a mass shooting at a Catholic school chapel in Minneapolis this week. CBS's Jared Hill.
A coward decided to take our 8-year-old son Fletcher away from us.
Incredible sadness for the families of Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky, killed when a person opened fire on Annunciation Catholic Church Wednesday. Harper's parents wrote they are shattered and called on leaders to do more to address gun violence and mental health. The mayor of Minneapolis called for stronger gun safety laws.
There is no reason that someone should be able to reel off 30 shots before they even have to reload.
Law enforcement sources tell CBS News the shooter visited the chapel just a few weeks ago and told an employee it was about reconnecting with faith. 4 high-ranking officials at the CDC have resigned in protest after the White House dismissed Director Susan Menares in a battle over vaccine policy. Among them, Dimitri Daskalakis, who headed up the National Center for Immunization.
Something is wrong when politics rules science, and we're not able to have the best science, true gold standard, make sure that we're doing the right thing for the people that we serve.
The administration has tapped Health Secretary Kennedy's top deputy, Jim O'Neill, as acting CDC director. 20 years ago today, Hurricane Katrina slammed into the southeast U.S. coast, and they're still rebuilding in places like Biloxi, Mississippi. Mayor Fofo Gillish.
We can't bid these last 2 projects unless we have assurance of funding.
He says it's been a constant battle with FEMA. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have gone public for the first time since the NFL star put a ring on it. The singer's giant mine-cut diamond was on full display when she entered Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where she and her new NFL star fiancé made their first public appearance as an engaged couple. They took in a college football matchup between Travis' alma mater, the Cincinnati Bearcats, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and their presence wasn't lost on the announcers.
Congrats to the newly engaged couple. It's a love story, baby. Just say yes.
I love it. Yes.
Dow futures down 110. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, August 29th. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. Still no announcement by Governor Mike Kehoe of a special session to redraw Missouri's congressional maps to try and guarantee more Republican representation in Congress. Usually, the maps are only redrawn after the census to update population trends. But President Trump is pressuring Republican-leaning states to open it up now to make the midterm elections more favorable. St. Louis County State Representative Ian Mackey, a Democrat, tells KMOX he's not sure Governor Kehoe will heed the president's call.
I hope not. I wouldn't be surprised if it's last minute. That's been, that's kind of been his way of doing business. So I would, we're going down for veto session on September 10th, and maybe we hear on September 10th that we'll be there when we wake up on September 11th. I'm not sure.
An attorney for St. Louis County Executive Sam Page entered a not guilty plea on his behalf Thursday to charges of misdemeanor election offenses and felony stealing. The indictment alleges Page used public funds on a mailer to campaign against Proposition B, a ballot measure that would have limited his power. Page's office has defended the mailer as allowable public education. The next court date in the case, September 23rd. A federal grand jury has indicted St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery.
Montgomery is charged with 1 misdemeanor count, deprivation of rights under color of law. The charge stems from a February incident when Montgomery ordered City Justice Center Deputy Commissioner Tammy Ross be detained while Montgomery conducted his own investigation into one of his deputies' alleged sexual misconduct with a detainee. Montgomery's attorney, Justin Gelfand, says his client is innocent and evidence will set him free. So I asked this follow-up question.
We've all seen the video. What evidence are you confident in will free him?
There's no question that Missouri law gives the sheriff's office for the city of St. Louis the ability to enforce certain criminal statutes based on violations of criminal law.
Montgomery's attorney did not elaborate about which statutes he was enforcing while having Ross detained. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
City Hall is addressing what Mayor Kara Spencer's administration calls the abuse of its family and medical leave program.
The policy, which offers 6 weeks of paid leave, has been used by more than a tenth of the city's workforce. The Post-Dispatch reports the city's budget director, Paul Payne, says the cost has exceeded $1 million a year, and former Mayor Jones called the rollout one of her biggest regrets. Jim Suleiman, the retired streets department director, recalled a case where a trash truck driver used a doctor's note to get out of an undesirable route. Now the city hopes to curb these issues by making employees use their vacation and sick time first before accessing the paid leave. There are exceptions for new parents. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
About $20 million in funds for road projects in St. Louis County have been taken back by MoDOT because the county didn't spend the money fast enough. MoDOT has been threatening for a few years to snatch back federal money for local projects because backlogs can mean fewer federal dollars. MoDOT will put that money towards state-sponsored road jobs, but says it will keep it in the area. Lufthansa suspending for the month of February its nonstop flight from St. Louis to Frankfurt, Germany, lauded as the region's long-awaited link to mainland Europe. The airline calling it a pause and says service will resume in March. Industry analyst with Atmosphere Research Group, Henry Hardevelt, tells KMOX why it's happening.
What we're seeing from Lufthansa is typical of airlines right now. They are reducing flights on routes during off-peak months like February, just on routes that may not be as profitable or may not be profitable at all. It's sound business practices, but Lufthansa appears to be committed to St. Louis, and that's what I would focus on.
The number of seats sold on the flight have been extremely high for the route. Lufthansa has said it's pleased with sales. Hardevelt notes airlines are facing not only a shortage of aircraft, but a shortage in the components used to build out aircraft interiors. Major League Baseball's media rights in the process of changing again, but in St. Louis, listening to and watching Cardinal games continues to be fairly easy.
As there continues to be a lot of talk about Major League Baseball's television rights, one thing that will not change is Cardinals baseball on KMOX. Cardinals Senior Vice President for Business Operations, Hancock says the relationship between the club and KMOX is an important one.
You can go pretty much anywhere in the country and find Cardinal fans. Within concentric circles of St. Louis, there's still an incredibly passionate fan base. And I think a lot of that has to do with our early partnership with KMOX and being the southern and westernmost team in the country for many, many decades. And KMOX taking us into households, into living rooms all across the country.
Karunaratne adds that the free TV games that were added this year on KMOV and Matrix Midwest, in addition to the direct-to-consumer streaming option, has resulted in increased ratings, even with the club having a tough season on the field. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
And speaking of the Cardinals, they're in Cincy tonight to face the Reds. First pitch set for 5:40 here on KMOX. We'll check the roads and the forecast for Labor Day coming up in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, the Doobie Brothers, with special guest, the Coral Reefer Band. Live in concert, the Walk This Road Tour. This is a party you won't want to miss. The Doobies and the Reefers. Live at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, September 4th. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's see if things are still pretty quiet on the roads. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Pretty easy morning, Roger.
Yeah, it has been, Megan. I mean, it was a little busier 10 minutes ago, but it's really quieted down in the last 10 minutes. And even that wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. But northbound 55 through Bayless, River to Pears, thinned out. North 270, just a little slow approaching 64. South 270 is thinned out down through Ladue. Eastbound 70 and 64 still look great out of Wentzville. It's fine at Clarkson. It's fine at the Interbelt. Both directions, 64 at the Interbelt. Again, if thin down, I'm still seeing this jam. I think it's signal problems on 141 from Old May area headed up to Astra Way. It's just bumper to bumper all the way through there. If you're headed that way, I'm sure it's signal problems that are creating that jam. The westbound or southbound side isn't as bad. We're still clear downtown across the bridges. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny to partly cloudy today and pleasantly warm this afternoon with a high of 86. Tonight, mainly clear with lows ranging from 55 in some eastern suburbs to about 62 downtown at the Arch. Sunshine mixing with clouds and warm tomorrow, high 85. Sunday, sun through high clouds, high temperature 82. Labor Day, clouds and some sun, high 80. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's a sunny morning, 67 degrees in Florissant, 65 in St. Peters, 67 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Why is a Collinsville veterinarian running for Congress?
Mostly it is my concern and frustration, for lack of a better way to put it, over the way things are being done currently in our government. Not to be overly dramatic, but I am concerned about our democracy and our democratic institutions.
That's Dr. Paul Davis. He is now the third Democrat to announce the intention to run for the 15th district congressional seat currently held by Republican Mary Miller. KMOX has reached out to Miller's press spokesman 3 times requesting an interview to talk about this race. We have not received a single reply. All 3 Democratic candidates have expressed concerns about Miller's track record of bringing few federal dollars back to the district. They've also pointed to the fact that Congresswoman Miller does not actually live in the district and has not expressed any plans to move inside district boundaries. Of the Democrats we've interviewed, one does, and one lives just outside, but plans to move inside if elected. I also asked Dr. Davis about whether he actually lives inside the 15th district.
I actually do. I actually do. About a half mile in. Where I live, I'm on the east side of 159 and on the north end of Collinsville. And if I go to Walgreens on the opposite side of 159, I'm in the 13th. So I'm close, but I'm there.
It is a uniquely drawn district, that is for sure. When it comes to your concerns about democracy, can you go into detail a little bit about that? What your specific concerns about what you're seeing for the district and nationally?
I am concerned largely as a scientist and a veterinarian that we are developing an anti-science culture. Public health is a tremendous concern, and obviously it affects all of us, and we need accurate information and good information for people to follow and information that they can trust. Medical research, scientific research should not be political, and that concerns me a great deal.
What are some of your other priorities in running for this office?
My priority is mainly trying to be a representative that listens to my constituents and so available to the constituents and residents of the 15th district. Not lots different than being a veterinarian. I have to be a good listener and I have to be present. And I don't feel like our current representative is that.
Obviously, you run a veterinary practice, but what qualifies you for going to Washington, D.C. and representing people in Congress?
I think I'm a good learner, and I continue to learn a lot day to day as our campaign progresses. So that's a good start. I also know I do not know everything, and I am ready to take advice not only from people in my immediate circle, but certainly when I get to Washington from other representatives. But mostly, I think what qualifies me is I'm a citizen of this district, and I know lots of residents in this district, and I can sit down, talk with them, they can trust me to listen to their problems and go advocate for them.
How are you financing your campaign?
So far, we do have an Act Blue account that's open, attached to our website, and it's in the early stages. So far, it has been largely us, my wife and I.
I have asked this of the other two Democratic candidates that are running. Have you reached out at all to Democratic leadership, either, in this region or statewide, for any support in this race?
We've talked with a good portion of the county chairs in the 15th district, and they've all been very supportive, at least from an encouragement standpoint. State level, we've had some conversation with state level. The national party, really not any significant conversation at this point. And what I keep hearing is they really are kind of holding off on A, support, and B, endorsements until after the primary. They just don't want to muddy the waters, and I think don't want to commit too early.
Do you feel like that state and national level support is really essential to see any change in this seat?
I think it's ultimately going to be needed, and whether they will choose to get on board early post primary or wait and see and try to determine how competitive any one of the three of us looks, that or anybody else that gets through the primary before they commit significant resources. I'm not sure.
Obviously, right now, there's a big national discussion about redrawing congressional boundaries. There may be states that say, okay, if Republican states are going to do this, then Democratic-led states may try to redraw the districts. Where do you fall on that? Is that an appropriate response in Illinois, for example, to what you see going on nationally?
Number one, gerrymandering by parties does not thrill me, for sure. It wouldn't be nice if districts were drawn independently or independent of political parties. But in this case, and I think certainly in the upcoming elections, I think as a party, we need to win. I think it's important that we win for the reasons I outlined earlier, why I'm running. So I think you kind of have to compete on the same playing fields, unfortunately. To answer your question directly, I think if it comes to that, we have to.
I want to touch on another issue that Illinois has been central in the nationwide discussion, and that's immigration. Where do you fall on immigration policy? And specifically, when we look at the fact that obviously in Chicago, we've got a sanctuary city there.
I do think we need to have secure borders, but I don't think we should be deporting. We're supposed to be deporting criminals, and we have significant benefit from immigration, certainly from a labor standpoint and a diversity standpoint. Currently, I think the labor standpoint probably is the most obvious thing to look at, other than the human rights end of things. But it bothers me to my core to see people that are just out doing their jobs and trying to make a living deported. It really does.
Have you had any discussions with Congresswoman Miller?
I have not. I think she's fairly hard to pin down on any kind of contact, whether it is email, phone, or certainly personal.
She espouses a lot of family values. She opposes some transgender rights. She's asked for really a clear declaration of, what marriage constitutes. Where do you fall on some of those issues compared to her?
I'm a Democrat because I am pro inclusion, and I believe everyone should have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I support every individual's right to be who they are. to be recognized equally, both as a human being and certainly under the law.
That is Dr. Paul Davis, Collinsville veterinarian and Democratic candidate for the 15th Congressional District in Illinois. We have also interviewed Jennifer Todd and Randy Raley and have reached out to incumbent Mary Miller. You can hear those past interviews at KMOX.com on the Total Information AM podcast page. Well, coming up next, Maryville University is vying for an NCAA Division I men's hockey team. We're going to talk with their director of hockey coming up. First, we need to check the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, not much to worry about on that front, Megan. Highways look great. I don't really see any delays to speak of on the area interstates right now. It's just on the secondaries. There's a little heavy traffic on 141, that jam we have from Old Lamy Ferry up to Astor Way. I think it may be signal problems. The only bumper-to-bumper backup we have. It's a little slow north of there. There's some slow stuff around Gravois Bluffs, eastbound 30, a little busy approaching 270. But interstate-wise, everything's wide open for you on both sides of the river. Do see a little backup in North County on Lindbergh as you get around the corner at Patterson. But again, nothing much to be concerned about right now. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it's going to be a nice one. Warm, sunny, a high of 86. Right now, we have sunny skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's Tom Ackerman, Genesis of St. Charles, the #1 Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri for 2025. Every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Must be within 125 miles. That means complimentary pickup and delivery plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. They make it so easy for you. Schedule it all easily online with Genesis of St. Charles at genesisofstcharles.com. Go visit them. You can buy online and let them deliver for you, or you can go see them at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. Luxury service at a state-of-the-art facility that's in St. Peters off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership is Genesis of St. Charles. Online at genesisofstcharles.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
You're back with Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Maryville University looking to net an NCAA Division I men's hockey program. Joining us with more on their efforts, Director of Hockey and Coach John Hogan. Coach, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Hey, Megan, thanks for having me.
So for listeners who may not be familiar with college hockey, what's the difference between your current ACHA program and what an NCAA distinction would bring to the program?
Yeah, we have 5 teams in Maryville that play in the ACHA, and it's considered non-varsity. So varsity NCAA D1 hockey would really just be elevating our experience to our student athletes and the greater kids in St. Louis to play at the highest level. So we're talking scholarships and playing against the top teams in the country. If it's Michigan, Michigan State, the Bostons, Denver. So the tournament that was in town a few months ago, the Frozen Four, that is what Maryville would be striving to be a part of in a few years.
And this would be the second NCAA Division I program in St. Louis, correct?
That is correct. Lindenwood started a few years ago, and we would love to join the party. So high tides raise all ships. So a Boston College, I think good rivalries in town bring out the best in people. So St. Louis is such a hockey city, so we love to be a part of it.
Yeah, the Frozen Four was fantastic here. So what's the timeline for Maryville University to make this happen?
Yeah, our past president, Dr. Lombardi, really put this vision into play a few years ago, and we started the Quiet campaign from a fundraising standpoint the start of the year, and we had a presidential change in May or June. So Dr. Dan Chip has kind of gotten on board and put a lot of passion, energy into it the last few months. So we have this semester to kind of reach our fundraising goals and to make sure we can bring this to reality. And if that's the case, we would put a shovel in the ground sometime next spring. We would start the transition as early as next season, and hopefully we'd be off the ground playing a full NCAA D1 schedule the 27-28 calendar year.
So it looks like you've raised about $2.2 million. How much more do you need to make upgrades to Maryville University Hockey Center?
Yeah, the hockey center upgrades would be somewhere between $5 and $5.5 million. So the goal for our institution is to try to raise all of that. So we're being fiscally responsible. So the next 4 or 5 months, we'd love to raise the rest of that so we can pay for the capital improvements. And we're trying to create just the premier NCAA D1 hockey program in town. So it'd be about 12,000 square feet, and we'd be also adding additional seating and standing room capacity so we could have over 2,000 people at the game. So would be awesome for the Valley, awesome for St. Louis, and that a little over $3 million is what we're trying to raise the next few months.
Well, it's already a great facility there. I'm curious, we've talked about the men's side. I'm with the St. Louis Lady Cyclones. We've got some alumna that have and do play there at Maryville. Would this be something that would be considered for your women's teams as well?
Certainly. You look at how we've grown our program. We started with one men's team in 2018. We added a second men's team. Then we added a women's team, and kind of walk before you run. So just like we've done in the past, and we think our process has worked to this point, try to get the men off the ground and kind of work through the cobwebs. And then we would love to have a women's team certainly in the future. And not just 5 teams, we'll go to 6 teams and then go to 7 teams. That'd be over 200 hockey student athletes at Maryville. So it would certainly become a hockey university to kind of drive hockey in St. Louis.
I know we have a strong youth hockey community here. What can they do to try to support this effort?
Yeah, over the next 3 or 4 months, come to a game, follow us online, support the team. We love to connect with the youth. Again, it's a great game, and not just on the ice, but things off the ice and in the community. That's what our student athletes are trying to do. So we'd love for anyone to come out to a game and support us, and follow us online. We'd love to have them.
So is there a site that folks can go to if they want to contribute to this effort?
Yes, if they go to maryville.edu, we have a capital fundraising page, and it also just kind of outlines some notes and just more information. We also have our renderings online. I know a picture kind of says 1,000 words. So if they go to maryville.edu, they can learn a little bit more about it, and it will go through kind of our athletics page, and or they can reach out to me. I love to talk about Maryville. So at my email online. So we'd love to just build awareness around these efforts and drive visibility for our university.
Coach, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you.
That is Maryville University Director of Hockey, John Hogan, joining us this morning here on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral in everything that we do. It keeps us involved and embraced in life. Not hearing someone is never normal. Ringing in the ears is never normal. And when people have a hearing loss, oftentimes they complain that they can hear, but they cannot understand people. And avoiding getting a hearing aid can have long-term effects on the speech reception area of the brain. So what that means is if you test and treat the hearing loss early with a hearing aid, we can prevent a decline in the speech understanding that can happen if the hearing loss goes untreated.
The words of Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. 3 locations in St. Louis, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
8:31, quick check of the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, everything's looking great on the area highways, Megan. The only issue we have, it looks like it's been rectified, I think, because we had that backup on northbound 141 from Old May Ferry up to Astor Way, but it looks like it's thinned out. So if it was road work or signals, whatever the problem was, it's been removed and things are back on track. And that's the only backup we had. The rest of these area highways very light and on the go everywhere on both sides of the river. I'm not seeing any issues for you right now. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thanks, Roger. A great day today. Sunny to partly cloudy, warm, a high of 86. Right now, sunshine, 67 in downtown St. Louis. 20 years after Hurricane Katrina crashed into the Gulf Coast, New Orleans set to commemorate the anniversary today. Katrina remains the costliest U.S. storm on record, damage estimated at upward of $200 billion when adjusted for inflation. Let's get more from CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula, who was on the ground providing coverage back in 2005. Jim, thanks for your time this morning.
Hi, Megan. Always good to be on KMOX.
I'm sure there are a lot of memories of covering the aftermath of Katrina. What would you say is maybe one of your most vivid memories?
Yeah, I think just the despair of people, the fact that really for the first time in my experience, and I've been doing this reporting work a long time, first time in my experience where I was called on to help people, to save lives, if you will. You know, Megan, there was a lot of criticism after Katrina toward especially the national media getting too involved. A lot of people felt we got too involved emotionally in the story. But again, I think you couldn't help but feel that way when again, you were in a situation where you were helping people get to safety. Providing them whatever help you could, food, bottled water, whatever it was. So I certainly remember that. I remember the outrage, the anger, certainly at the lack of government response. There's a town called Chalmette, Louisiana, Megan, southeast of New Orleans, and I remember going there maybe a week or so after Katrina had hit. And I talked to the mayor. I remember talking to the mayor and the fire chief, and they were still livid at the lack of any kind of consequential state or federal help. And I remember in that instance, in that town, the fire chief telling me that the first outside help that they got came from Canada, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So again, there was this growing anger through the weeks. I was in New Orleans prior to the storm, during it, and then for a better part of 5 weeks afterwards. So again, this anger and frustration just built and built over those many weeks, days and weeks.
I know we saw the failure of a federal levee system there.
Yeah.
I remember, the scenes of people on rooftops for days, or in the Superdome where there was not enough there to really serve them. Do you feel that disaster has led to any real and lasting changes?
Well, one of the things I'll say, a couple of things come to mind. First off, I think after Katrina, people came to realize, or there was a new realization, a new sense that, hey, if you're in a natural disaster, don't sit there and rely on government help, be it from the state or Washington. And since Katrina and many of these natural disasters that now play out, Megan, we see more and more volunteer groups come in. Church groups, religious organizations, religious groups, I should say, really, volunteer groups, charitable organizations, people coming together and helping each other out without waiting for government help. Secondly, one of the things many listeners will remember, the fact that so many people in New Orleans did not flee. The storm itself wasn't that, I didn't think, that big a deal. I wrote it out in downtown New Orleans at a hotel on the riverfront. But then when those levees broke, that's when things really went downhill fast. And we all remember there were so many people who didn't evacuate. And one of the reasons people talk to me about not evacuating their pets, they didn't want to leave their pets behind. And after Katrina, there was a concerted effort from so many of these emergency shelters, Megan, to start accepting pets. That was one of, I think, the positive things that came out of Katrina.
CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Megan, always good to talk to you. Take care.
We've got your money report coming up next.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Online security is a must, and millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer and more private online. And you can do that too. Get NordVPN with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic from data snoopers and internet service providers, while NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro will reduce risk of phishing and alert you about the fake online shops and known scams. And that's not all. If your email address is leaked to the dark web, you will get an instant notification from the Dark Web Monitor and act accordingly. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
Let's get to your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. The U.S. economy expanded at a slightly faster pace than initially thought in the spring second quarter, rising by 3.3%, thanks to a boost from trade as U.S. importers tried to get ahead of the Trump tariffs and on steady consumer spending. Nearly 3 out of 5 college grads tell the job site Indeed Flex that they're struggling to find full-time entry-level work. And AI could be partly to blame for making a lot of jobs obsolete. The other big challenge is lack of experience and competition from other job seekers. And after falling for most of this year, pending home sales rose for a second month in a row in August, up about 2%. Redfin says that's mostly thanks to average long-term mortgage rates edging lower to the lowest in 10 months. That's making monthly payments more affordable. On Wall Street, stocks notch a fresh record, with the S&P 500 climbing 0.3% to top 6,500. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Frank, did you get the mail? Coupon, Medicare, AARP. Oh, wait, this one says open immediately. First one in the trash.
Every day we're bombarded with messages that we don't care about. Problem is, there might be an important message in there that affects you, like retirement. For example, on September 23rd and 25th, Steve All of the All Financial Group will be hosting a Taxes in Retirement seminar at Stone Summit. From the big beautiful bill to taxes on your Social Security, Steve will cover it. It's a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
What about this coupon for a new lawn service?
We live in a condo.
So?
On the 3rd floor. Mom always said I shouldn't have married you.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional or guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
We've been here 30 years.
30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, "I love you." Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
8:42. Let's see how things are wrapping up on the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's no issue on the interstates, Megan. In fact, there's really no issue anywhere. I mean, there's just a few slowdowns here and there. Northbound to 67 at Double C's, a little heavy. Highway 30 at Gravois Bluffs, busy there. Westbound 100 rather, at West Glen Farms is slow. 141 at Conway, kind of busy. The 141 exits at Olive look a little slow, but interstate-wise, we're good to go for you any direction on both sides of the river. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning, John Hancock.
Morning.
We've got an exciting day today.
Always.
And we're starting off with a big timer.
Well, we are. We're joined by Attorney General Designate Catherine Hanaway. She's joining us. She was named a week or so ago as the incoming Attorney General by Governor Mike Kehoe after Attorney General Andrew Bailey accepted a post in the Trump administration as the co-deputy director of the FBI. Catherine joins us this morning. Catherine, welcome to KMOX. I bet you thought you were done with politics.
I sure did. And good morning, John and Michael. And I hope you have some other bigger guest coming on later, because I don't know how much excitement I bring to the morning, but I'm super happy to be with you guys.
Well, we are delighted to have you. For those of you who aren't familiar, Catherine Hanaway has been, I would say, a monumental figure in Missouri politics over the decades. She ran and was elected to the State House of Representatives, became the first Republican speaker in nearly half a century. She was the first female Speaker of the House in the history of the state. She went on to run for governor, left and went into private practice. She was most recently the managing partner at Hush Blackwell, a large law firm, one of the largest, if not the largest, in the state. And now she's about a week and a few days away from becoming Missouri's Attorney General. So talk to me about how you found out about all of this and how long it took you to make a decision to jump back into the political sphere.
So it was about 2 weeks and 3 days ago. The governor's council called me and completely out of the blue, had no idea that this was coming, and said, if Andrew Bailey is promoted to this position, would you consider becoming Attorney General? And I said, boy, I don't know. I need to talk to my husband. I need to pray on it. Need to talk to the rest of my family. I said, how much time do I have to decide? And he said, well, of course, the governor doesn't want to set a deadline, but Friday would be nice. So within about 72 hours, talked with my law partners and my family and really prayed on it a lot. Maybe more importantly, had my mom pray on it a lot. And the answer seemed pretty clear that, most of my life I have dedicated to being in public service and wanted to do more public service and, didn't win the governor's race. And so this seemed like just a great opportunity to come back. And, I'm a person of faith. It did feel like the fact that it came completely as a bolt from the blue, that God had a hand in making this opportunity available to me.
So is this the last stop in politics for Catherine Hanaway? Because everybody else who's been Attorney General for the last 4 or 5 behind you have gone on to do something else now from it.
I am super committed to serving out the rest of this term, which is about 3 years. If the voters will have me for a full term in 2028, I will serve another 4. Never say never, but that would be a nice capstone to my time in public service.
You were appointed U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Missouri by President W. Bush and did that job. Tell us how that particular position provides you a preparation for what you're about to do in the Missouri Attorney General's office.
Yeah, it's fantastic preparation. As the U.S. Attorney, you are the chief federal law enforcement official for half the state. You prosecute federal crimes. I supervised over 4,000 cases. I personally took cases into the grand jury, took them to jury trials, really enmeshed myself in learning how to prosecute cases at every level. As the Attorney General for Missouri, you are the chief law enforcement official for the whole state. And my number one priority, which I think is just imperative, is combating violent crime throughout the state, but particularly here in St. Louis, where it is the number one thing that holds us back from attracting people to our region.
Yeah, no question about that. And things have changed quite a bit over the past few years. Gabe Gore now in the circuit attorney's office, I think, has made a tremendous difference in that regard. The Attorney General's office functions as almost a large law firm, and you've got a number, I would guess, into the 100 of employees. Is that an apt description of the office that you're about to lead?
100% it is. There's about 200 lawyers and then another about 200 staff. They're placed all over the state. There's offices in Cape Girardeau, Springfield, Kansas City, Jeff City, and St. Louis. And, my experience leading Hush Blackwell, which had 1,200 lawyers in 25 cities, is directly relevant. The big difference is in the private sector, you could pay people a whole lot of money to motivate them. The state government employees make a lot of sacrifices to be on this team. So my first sort of order of business in terms of managing this team is to give them some reassurance that what they do is valued, the work they do is super important, and that they're going to have some stability for some time now.
Catherine, this question's coming. This table's been set for you, right? There's a lot of cases that are already in process. You've mentioned St. Louis, high-profile issue going on with the sheriff and with the county executive. What is your position? How are you going to operate as you wind up taking over those investigations and prosecutions?
Yeah, so the Solicitor General's office, which is the office that does kind of the constitutional litigation and some of these more high-profile cases, is a place where Andrew Bailey, Eric Schmidt, and Josh Hawley all went out and recruited talent nationally. I would make the argument that Missouri's office, that group of lawyers, is the best in the country. We're going to continue to invest in them and in those cases. And I have to give Andrew Bailey just enormous credit for refocusing on public corruption. We know how important it was to St. Louis that he took out Kim Gardner. These cases are also important, but he's not just doing these cases in St. Louis. He's doing these cases all over the state. And I'm definitely going to continue that effort to ensure that our public servants actually serve the public and not themselves.
That's Catherine Hanaway. She's the incoming Attorney General for the state of Missouri. Michael, she and I got involved in politics at about the same time. Catherine still has hair, and
she's still winning elections.
So, Catherine, we wish you nothing but the best. We're grateful for your time this morning, and good luck running that very important office for the people of Missouri.
Well, and I just want to say thank you to the two smartest guys in politics and the longevity that you have had and the insights that you provide us as on both sides of the aisle in a reasonable, civil, and collegial way. It is so appreciated.
Oh, my gosh. How nice was that?
And
is
the
that
check
admissible in court?
Yeah, the check is payable to Hanaway, Hanaway. Hey, Catherine, have a great day. It's Michael Kelley, John Hancock. We'll be back after this on KMOX.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. The Saliga family's been taking great care of St. Louis since 1927 and still have the best and most trustworthy customer service in town. Saliga can handle all of your heating and air conditioning needs for home or business. They offer free estimates and financing options, and they won't leave you hanging if there's an emergency. The Miklas family's been calling on Saliga for more than 15 years, and we fully appreciate their knowledge, their class, and their integrity. Saliga's never tried to pressure us. They always take the time to discuss all the available options, including low-cost solutions. Saliga has saved us good money with their Priority Club maintenance program, which extends the life of our equipment. Members receive priority service and the peace of mind in knowing their home will be safe and comfortable during all 4 seasons. The Miklas family truly values Saliga Heating and Cooling, and you will too. For more information, call Saliga at 314-481-7333 or visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
When we started Neovitin back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin Original Formula Multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
The legendary sound of the Doobie Brothers is rolling into town. Don't miss the show. Coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, September 4th, with special guest, the Coral Reaper Band. It's a night of timeless hits, epic harmonies, and classic rock energy like only the Doobies can deliver. Tickets are still available and can be found at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, head to KMOX.com/events.
Welcome back to the Hancock and Kelley Show. We're going to stick around for the next hour with Amy as Chris is out of town.
Going to see Oasis in Chicago, is he?
I think he did it last night. I'm curious as to how it went. It's going to be an absolutely
we'll all find out on Monday or Tuesday.
Weekend.
We're here Monday.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's going to be a gorgeous weekend. And on Monday, if you're barbecuing, pork steaks, God forbid, or something else, you can listen to Hancock and Kelley. We'll be on from what, 9 to noon?
That's what they tell me.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, how about the sheriff inside the city of St. Louis, already under investigation from the Attorney General's office down in Jefferson City? Yesterday, we found out that the federal government has indicted him as well.
Yeah, for handcuffing his deputy. And
or that was the jail director.
Or the jail director, right. And then
he got his own investigation.
A bit of good news is Andrew Bailey dropped the nepotism charge of the state's case against him. But the future, let's say, does not look bright for Arthur Montgomery.
Yeah, and it seems to have been earned. He just it's really kind of a study, I think, in kind of the lunacy of politics these days after it's all over with. Speaking of the lunacy of politics, we've got the president of the United States wanting to redraw lines here. He doesn't want them to redraw them over there. First of all, we usually wait every 10 years to redraw the lines. That's been the custom and the practice here in the state of Missouri. He says we're going to redraw the lines here in Missouri. Mike Kehoe has remained silent, but John, I think it's inevitable that Missouri's going to do this same.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Charade.
It's going to happen. They're going to draw a 7-1 Republican map, and that will require splitting the Kansas City district of Emmanuel Cleaver, the Democrat over there. Will require splitting that into parts of 3 different districts to create a district that will elected Republican. And at least in theory, all of the other seats will remain stable. The Wesley Bell seat certainly will be Democratic over here. And then the other 6 seats that are currently held by Republicans will continue to be held by Republicans, although 1 or 2 or 3 of them, depending on how they split the hairs here, are going to be less Republican tomorrow than they are today. And whether that makes them, any of them, competitive remains to be seen. I suspect that if you're precise and you don't really care about communities of interest and contiguous and compact districts, I suspect you can draw 7 Republican majority map districts that are fairly safe.
Well, it will be interesting to watch. It's really kind of sad to watch what's happening throughout the country. Hey, you can see Hancock and Kelley, the television show on Fox 2, 8:30 on Sunday morning.
Indeed, you can, and it's the Chris and Amy show minus Chris plus Amy. That's next on KMOX.
Sam Page pleads not guilty to charges that he misused public funds. Sheriff Montgomery was indicted. St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman might run again. And the Dome needs more money. We'll talk about all of it with Hancock and Kelley on the Chris and Amy show today at 9 a.m.
Energy security isn't a slogan.